What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham adversaries? I'm your host, Trey, and welcome to the inaugural show of the Bat Channel, your main hub for all things Batman.
Question. How do we call him? He gave us a signal.
Up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham adversaries. It's your boy Trey of the Bat Channel. We are live from the Bat Cave, and it is, ladies and gentlemen, 1 year anniversary from our first video of the Bat Channel. But before we begin, let me bring in the guy who's been with me from the beginning of the channel, Super Bro Corey. Where are you at, big boy?
What is up, everybody? How we doing tonight?
Hey, doing good, man. Hey, isn't it crazy? It's been 1 year.
I can't believe it, dude. It's been 1 year since the first show. I had to open up tonight with the 1 year, your first show, inaugural. What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham adversaries? So
that brought up, like, when I saw that, I was like, no, because I mean, when I did that video, I was nervous as hell, but like, we got into it. We recorded it at Dad's house because, Dad had a lot of experience doing this kind of stuff. Yeah. And I didn't realize until after my father-in-law told me, he's just like, you say, every 5 seconds. I was like, damn it. Do I? So now I'm like super self-conscious. Every time I do a video, I try so hard not to say, even though it happens, obviously.
That first show was a little cringeworthy. I'm not gonna lie, but then again, what YouTuber's first video is not cringeworthy? There's
great question. Who actually didn't have too bad of an opening show? Sil Abdul. Even though technology didn't work out for him, he did a very good job. He handled himself really well with that. And I mean, obviously he was live and we are doing, pre-recorded stuff, but it was really fun to give it a go because I mean, Corey, I'm kind of like antisocial until I get to know my people. And then I talk a lot to where you can't shut me up, but it was such a crazy time. And to think it's already been a year. Is there a moment for you that pops out at all?
Oh man. As far as the pre-recorded shows go, I loved, there was quite a few shows, and I would say specifically for me, the ones that pop out to me are I loved your cooking shows and your Bad Burger and the Wonder Wife. Those were always fun to watch. I would also say the Bat Drink was fun too. As well as, I did like some of your comic synopsis ones as well. I thought that those were cool shows. But I think the thing that really kind of got me going was when we had like that first trailer reaction video, and it just what was it, the Batman, and it just completely blew up.
Yeah, the Batman and the Snyder cut one, is what kind of took it off. That was crazy moments. It's to me, part of the fun part of doing this show has been one, getting to know new people and geeking out over Snyder Cut, Batman. But more importantly, you knew, Corey, from the beginning. I had always said that the most important thing to me about this show was making a difference, raising money for things I cared about, like Feeding America and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, because, for Autumn. And the fact that we got to do that on June 21st, we raised over $125 for Feeding America with the Batfleck movie team. When we did that big show. And it was like, to me, that was like the greatest thing in the world. Like to put in that check, to the donation, to the team feed, like that was a cool moment that me personally, I'll never forget, which we're doing that tonight as well. I've kind of made a decision that for a tradition, every year show celebration, we are going to do a fundraiser. So once again, your super chat is going to go to donating to, this time, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which I think we already got our first super chat, right?
Yeah, we already got the first super chat. So pop that back up real quick.
Bat Dan, man, thank you so much, dude. I knew we were trying to get Bat Dan on tonight, but I know he has work. He has a crazy schedule. He works hard, but I appreciate you coming in, supporting us that way, man. Really great. Corey, let's play that quick little clip from, and then we have some special guests that we're going to bring in just a moment here. So it's going to be a damn good show, but let's go ahead and play a little something special.
Are you sweet talking me?
Thank you so much, Matt Dan. He says, insomnia getting the better of me, giving a quick super chat before attempting to sleep again. Hashtag release the aircut. Hashtag make the Batfleck movie. Yeah. I love that.
I do want to say one thing. I would say another thing that popped out to me was the first live show that you did, and it wasn't it wasn't necessarily our live show, because our first live show was technically your second live show. That first live show was in Spanish, my friend, and that just bringing the community together. And like you said, we have some awesome guests coming on here tonight. I'm super excited to be talking to each one of them. So
that was a crazy show. Like, you helped me with that because I don't speak Spanish. But Bat Mike, who's the legendary cosplayer Bat Mike, who won the DC fandom cosplay competition with his son, he had reached out to me and said, Trey, let's do a live show together. And I was like, but I don't speak Spanish. She's like, don't worry, I'll take care of you. And we went on there, and somehow we were able to give a Zack Snyder Justice League review in Spanish and English without fully understanding each other. It was crazy. But guys, before we begin our full show, make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe, and that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Share it, get your friends on, because this is going to be one crazy show. Corey, are you ready to begin?
Oh, I'm ready, big fella.
All right, let's bring in our first guest. I've been so waiting to bring this person on because I really enjoyed hearing on his takes on Sil Abdul's show. Let's bring in my boy Zod writer. Zod, how you doing?
Ooh. Hey guys, man, first of all, happy anniversary, man.
Thank
you guys do some great work. It's awesome that you guys are still at it and you're accomplishing all your goals. It's wonderful to see. I'm a big fan, and honestly, it's just great overall, man. Nothing but positive things to say about you guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you. Seriously, I've always enjoyed when you've been on Sil's show to talk about all the different little topics it has, because you and Sil, you guys have known each other for quite a long time, right?
Yeah, we started off together in the Four Nerds. We started the Four Nerds together.
That's right.
And that's a thing that we had started streaming together. We did a stream together. Me, Sil, Ryan, and Dawson. We did a stream together, and then at the end of after that stream was over, we all got together and started talking. And I was like, well, let's do this on a regular basis. Let's get together and do a weekly live stream. Let's do it, guys. And Ryan was like, yeah, we got to come up with a name. And we were all sitting there talking about it. And then Ryan was like, how about Four Nerds? And we were like, yeah, that'll work. And then, so that's when we did, we got together, we did about, 25 episodes together before it all unraveled and became something different. But I'm like I said, I will always love, Sil Abdul, because I think he brings a lot to the table.
Absolutely.
He brings a lot of hope to everybody with the stuff that he does, especially the stuff he's doing now, with Mikey Sutton and stuff. It's nice to see. It's a great thing. And he's really come up and gotten a big following. I mean, when I started with them, when I started working, with the Four Nerds, when we were all together, then I was still doing my internet radio show. I was doing the Zod Writer Show over on PSN Radio, and after I started doing Four Nerds, I decided to launch my channel and start doing all my own content. So I've been doing my own content now for a while, but again, there's nothing better than when you find people, like Trey and Corey, you guys, when you guys are, you guys have your thing together and it works very, very well. And that's what it is. When you find people that you have good chemistry with, you should always continue to work with them because no matter what, and when you know that those people have your back, that's the best way to be, because then no matter what happens, you can always say, well, hey, at least I can talk to this person, or at least I can talk to that person. And that's a beautiful thing.
And that's actually one thing I absolutely love about your show, Zod. You and Sonya at late nights and stuff like that, and some of the stuff that you guys are talking about, man, it's good stuff, and I really enjoy watching your show as well. I do have a question for you before we dive into more guests. I hear you pop up and say Chicago quite a bit. Are you a Chicago guy?
Yeah, I'm in Illinois. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait, what? Right. I didn't know that. I used to live in Illinois. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Yorkville.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm actually in a small suburb, in a small apartment in Homewood, Illinois, and that's where I stay out of. And I honestly live in this small 1-room studio apartment. It's really tiny, and I got all my little stuff, and I'm always on my on my red porno couches, and I got my little I got my little arcades over here, and it's just kind of like it's like, it just goes to show that you can bring, when you've got something to say and you bring it to the table and you bring it in a convincing and honest way. That's the most important thing I've always tried to do. I always want to be honest. I never want to feed anybody any BS. And that's why that's why a lot of people hate me, guys. A lot of people hate me because I'm honest. I tell the truth. If I see some BS, I'm going to call it out. I don't care who these people are. And people, unfortunately, don't want to hear truth. They don't want to hear honesty. That's what I've learned. They want to be spoon-fed stuff that they want to hear. And when you don't tell them what they want to hear, that's when you lose people.
Though, I always prefer someone to be honest, though.
I do
that's
too.
Why I enjoy your content, because you never bullshit, just like Sil never bullshits.
No, he doesn't.
and that's the people I prefer. I mean, not like some other people that we have known in the community that are no longer around, but you appreciate when those people are real with you. You always know where they stand, and I prefer to know where you stand rather than to think you're with us or against us, talking
right. I always say, if I don't like something or I don't like something you did, I'm going to call it out. I got a lot of flack for the position I took on the whole motion comic thing.
Yeah.
Not because I don't support some of the people that are involved, and not because I don't feel for the people who were misled and lied to. But I didn't like the fact that people were lied to, that they that they kept pushing the narrative that it was the fan backlash that ended the project. When come to find out, and this is what I'd been saying all along, it was the legalities with Warner Brothers that ended the project. So if you're going to be dishonest about what ended the project, and you're going to attack the people in the fandom you don't like and say they were the ones that ended the project, that's where I had an issue. That's where I felt bad. And I always believe in this. If you're telling the truth and you're honest, you don't have to run. You don't have to leave. You don't have to disappear. You don't have to take down your content. You don't have to, shut down all your social media accounts except your Instagram account, because your Instagram account is connected to your business account. And if you shut down your Instagram account, it could cost you some money. So of course you didn't shut that one down, but you shut down all your other social media accounts, and then gave us this sob story about why we should all feel sorry for you, and we should be, and that you're thankful because we were, that you were a speck in our lives. Honestly, that dude, not to throw out any names or anything, but that dude literally picked the best time to cut and run, because I was thinking about this, guys, and I don't know what you guys think, but like, once if most of your most popular videos and stuff are about when you talk about the Snyderverse or the Snyder Cut, and you interview actors and people associated with the film.
Yeah.
Okay, this person has already interviewed Zack and Deborah Snyder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that we know that, there's probably not going to be any new Snyderverse stuff for a while, now that we know that we're in a bit of a holding pattern with all that stuff, what does this guy really have to talk about that's going to get him views?
Yeah.
Who can he bring on that people are going to be interested in watching? Because every single one of the videos that he did that's not about the Snyderverse barely cracks any views. He's got terrible views on anything that he's talking about if it's not the Snyder related. So he kind of picked a good time to cut and run because he can't go any further.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am, where I love you guys, because you guys talk about a lot of different stuff. I talk about a lot of different stuff. Yeah, we're fans of Snyder. Yeah, we talk about the Snyderverse, but we're comic book fans. We like all these different things. We're very diversified in the things that we're into. And that's how you have to be, because when you if you get to a point like this where there's not a whole lot of movement going on in the Snyderverse right now, you have to have other things to talk about. And if you don't, your fan base is going to kind of dry up, because they're going to keep coming. They're coming to you because they want to hear more about that. And if you don't have anything else to say about that, then they're not really going to care about any of the other stuff that you talk to or anybody else that you interview. So I think that guy knew the writing was on the wall for him, and he took that opportunity to kind of bail. But I've seen that his YouTube channel is allegedly back up with some limited content. I don't know if that means he's trying to make his triumphant return after the victim dirge is over with. I don't know, but
he'll be back.
But I'm pretty sure. Yeah, people like that, when you have a certain degree of narcissism, you tend not to allow yourself to be gone for too long. You basically want people to love you and clamor for your return. I don't know if he's necessarily going to get that, because I kind of feel like he's really, really burned some bridges. But that's just my view on it all, guys.
Yeah, well, no, I agree with you, Zod. But let's go ahead and address with the super chat. Wow, the Batfleck movie. You guys were amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on June 21st and helping us raise $125. I know we were taking 4 hours out of your busy day, like promoting the Batfleck movie, and it still trended worldwide, which was insane. But let's go ahead, Corey. They gave us $20 to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Let's give them a little clip.
It is not a question of money.
You see, I'm buying this hotel and setting some new rules about the pool area.
I love that so much. Let's go ahead and bring in our next guest. Let me first read. The Batfleck movie says, "You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work in helping AFSP save lives. # make the Batfleck movie." Hell yeah, you guys know. But let's go ahead and bring in our next
guys real quick. Wasn't that what that was supposed to be about? That whole project was supposed to be about AFSP in the first place, right? Go figure. I don't
There's a reason why we're doing this today with the AFSP. I mean, the money was supposed to be raised with that event. Like, it's clearly not going to get it because they cancel, and there was no need for them to cancel it. But hey, here we are still in the trenches fighting for
they
AFSP.
Canceled it because Warner Brothers did a cease and desist behind the scenes. That's why.
Hey, it was RT's Snyder Cut.
That's the only reason it was canceled. It wasn't canceled because of fans. It wasn't canceled for any other reason. It wasn't even canceled because dudes were tracing Jim Lee's artwork. It was canceled because of legalities.
Hell yeah.
They didn't have the rights to do what they were doing, and they were using actors. They were using Ray Porter, and they were using who Who else? I think they were using
Sam Benjamin, Harry Lennox,
Henry Lennox,
Wonder Meg. It was a whole list of people.
A couple other people.
But let's go ahead. Let's bring in. Oh, I think Jeffrey had to go, but
I didn't know Wonder Meg was an actress.
He'll be back.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and bring our next guest, which I've also had the pleasure of chatting him with a few times. Let's bring in Alessandro. How's it going, bro?
Yes.
Hey guys,
What's up, Alessandro?
how are you doing, guys? How are you doing? I'm working right now on something else. It's a bit more. It's a different project I'm playing, but here is a little look, just so people could know a bit of what the hell I'm about. Oh, by the way, first, congratulations, guy! 1 year.
Oh, thank you so much, brother.
And you survived 1 year. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Because usually people leave their channels when they see, oh my god, this is not going very quickly up. So people usually get, I don't know, but you guys kept going, so that's something. That's really good. I wasn't a big fan of yours because I found you just very recently, some months ago, because of Seal. So that's awesome. You got 1 year going. So
thank you.
That's great, guys.
I appreciate it, man.
Oh, this is something I'm doing.
Oh, let's bring it up.
Oh, bro.
So, do you guys remember the scene when Superman appears, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, in this moment, I thought on a different angle of all that. So, imagine this moment, and Cyborg hears the clunk on Superman's chest, but he can see it. And this is what he hears right now.
That's cool.
Wow. That's
awesome
work. My God, man. See, there's your motion comic right there. For real.
Man, I love it. Zod.
Oh, man.
Don't worry, Victor. I got your back. That's cool.
Wow.
How dope.
That's really good, Alessandro.
That is dope.
Wow,
dude. Hey, man, that's some of the things that I appreciate. And not only that, I mean, one, it's original art. But even, I don't know exactly, Alessandro, you know the whole how an artist works, and I'm definitely not a good artist, but you know, I do feel bad for the artist because me personally, I think this fell from the top with, you know, the director, the leader of the product, well, the project,
the money man.
Yeah. And because they should have been more aware of what he was doing. And not only that, when they said on their stream that they noticed some things weren't quite adding up, some things were looking a little suspicious, and they had reached out to him. And then when people questioned them about it, they got angry about it, and they did this whole other stream where they're like, no, it's 100% original artwork. Yeah, Jim Lee might be inspiration, but it's 100% original. But yet to me, it was kind of like, you shouldn't have even said that. Like, you should have just came out and said, hey, we're looking into this. You know, instead they went into a defensive mode and in a way kind of threw the artists under the bus now that the project has kind of gone crazy. But it sounds like they started it back up. What's your take on that, Alessandro?
You guys, before you answer, Alessandro, I don't want to cut you off or anything, but what is so damning about all of this, and it's just something that I heard that I kind of want to pass along to you guys before Alessandro says his piece. From what I heard, the artists were told to emulate Jim Lee. So that means they weren't even allowing the artists to draw in their own way. So if you're not going to allow the artists to draw in their own way, like we just seen right here, an example of beautiful artwork that would have worked for a motion comic way better than tracing Jim Lee's artwork. So if they're telling all these artists, oh, you have to make it like Jim Lee because it has to match up with the storyboards, I think that's another big mistake, but that's just my view.
No, okay. By the way, hi, Soul Writer, hi, all of you guys. Because I didn't say hi, I didn't. Okay, good. But okay, I just I usually play Devil's Advocate, so I will have to do it again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Because you give an interesting perspective on this. I think people need to hear.
Yes, there are a lot of people that were involved, and actually, there are some artists that really know how to emulate Jim Lee's art. So if they put the effort, they can actually imitate it. And I think they wanted that kind of artist, and there are many. For example, there's a guy called Mariano. For example, Mariano Navarro, for example, he does some really great line art pieces, and they are professional works. You look at them and you almost can imagine them in a comic.
Yeah,
because he is really that good. For example, this is what this guy does, Mariano Navarro.
Yeah,
professional. I don't remember he was called for this project, but if he can imitate that, I think any other artist that is experienced enough can actually imitate it. And it's not an impediment. It's not like, oh my god, I have to compromise my work to imitate Jim Lee. I think that you can do it, and you don't need to trace it. However, there's a little detail. The other artist, and this is going to get a little confused because the artist that they contacted is called Mariano Chico, and I will try to defend him this time. Mariano Chico is this guy. He actually is, for example, his dark side right here it's not exactly traced, but he tried to emulate exactly what he had. He usually works with references literally on his side.
Yeah.
And sometimes uses tracing. But that's something that he already worked that way for many months, even before this whole project about the motion comic. And yes, it was a mistake not knowing that that's the creative process that Mariano Chico seeks. He has that process. It's not like he now had the idea, oh my god, I'm going to trace their Jim Lee's artwork because I'm such a bad guy. Ha ha ha. I will trick everyone. I don't think that was the way, but the idea is that for sure they should have investigated more about his artists and say, okay, man, how do you do these pieces? And however, they didn't. But I don't think it was something purposely made to copy.
Yeah,
they just weren't, sadly. And I don't defend that. I just trying to defend the artist.
You're good, Alessandro. I know exactly what you're saying, but and I completely agree with you. I don't think there was any ill intent by the artists at all. I think either, if anything, they just should have, if they did notice that, hey, the artwork was coming out a little Jim Lee-esque, rather than when people had fair questions about, hey, this is looking a little like tracing, they should have just came out rather than defending and be like, oh no, it's 100% original art. You're toxic.
But Trey, that's what the director asked for. That's the problem. The director said, emulate Jim Lee. Why not allow these? What I'm saying is, why not allow these artists to draw in their own style?
Oh no,
that's my understanding.
No, I think that's okay because you as a director, you can actually say, okay, my vision is that this whole motion comic would have the feels of the, do you guys remember the sketches that Jim Lee did for the whole Snyderverse timeline? So this director probably wanted that. He wanted that feeling of those sketches, and those feelings, of course, were made by Jim Lee, so he wanted the motion comic to have that same feeling. I don't think it's unfair to say, unfair, what the hell? I don't think it's very just to say, oh my god, man, you should have let them all have their own style. Of course, maybe he should have done that, but it's not invalid to say, oh my god, why don't you try to go for this route? I want you to imitate the Jim Lee style. However, this, of course, maybe I think they probably said that, try to imitate the Jim Lee style, and for Mariano Chico, he was like, okay, I will do what I always do. So I will trace from a Jim Lee comic or some elements, and I will compose. But there's a little reference. There's here another little defense for Mariano. He even when he usually traces, he still has to then adapt to the suits and then paint it over it. So I will say it's not as easy as say I will just trace it because a baby can do it. I think it's, again, the problem was, Lycas should have been not as defensive as they always are. Sadly,
I think that's the biggest thing with that. I think you're absolutely right.
The management, I think, is how.
So let's hold that thought real quick, Alessandro, because I know he's been waiting for a while. But let's go ahead and bring in another person who has also a perspective of my boy Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I've been waiting to do this for a long time, man. How you been?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well, brother.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Happy 1 year anniversary, by the way.
Thank you, sir. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot.
So, I guess really, since everyone's on the topic of the motion comic, I guess I'll put my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
Really, really, to me, how I picture this whole thing, if you followed me on Twitter, I've been saying that I've been kind of warning people about this with the whole legality situation. Like really, I wasn't really expecting a cease and desist anyway, because it kind of happened with this other YouTuber called the Star Wars Theory, where he did his own, or when he tried to do his own
Oh, you're talking
Darth
about
Vader
Star Wars Theory?
Yeah, when he was trying to do his Darth Vader series, but then Disney came in and bought the rights to that, and he wasn't able to finish it. And really, for me, like, I'm really kind of seeing the same pattern here. So really, Al, I really do hope that this motion comic does. I really do hope that your motion comic does get done, but really, I'm expecting the same thing to happen with you, to be honest.
Yeah.
And really, like, that's really the thing. Like, I've also been kind of working on like this plan C sort of thing, where in a way it's gonna be kind of like a Japanese kabuki solo Japanese style acting performance, because I'm looking at this kind of like in the legality situation, because really, I really do think that we do need the Snyderverse to kind of have like a little teaser of it as fans. So really, like, I'm working on a script right now.
Awesome.
And really, I think it's actually very great, and really, like, yeah, like, really what I'm planning on doing now is just doing this Japanese solo performance so that I can get it out to people and what it would be like. And really, why I'm doing it in the solo Japanese way is because I'm looking is because it wouldn't affect the legalities of copyright stuff, because I wouldn't be using any of the characters. I wouldn't be using DC characters at all. It would just kind of be like me and the screen acting out the scenes in the script.
Following the story.
Yeah, so in a way, it wouldn't be so in a way I won't be breaking any laws or stuff like that, and would kind of put WB in the corner.
You know, I mean, you guys all bring up really good points, and I think my thing is we'll kind of end on this and kind of get on with the further parts of the show that we were actually going to talk about today. But just to kind of sum up with the Justice League motion comic, I will never fault anyone for having a creative idea. I mean, that was a really cool way. I know it wasn't Zack's plans for, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. He has said numerous occasions that he has changed it. It's been updated. But this was the original plan. And I thought it was very, very cool. And I wished them nothing but the best. You know, when we first did our stream about it, we were all supportive, like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. This can only be a positive thing for the Snyderverse community, because if Warner Brothers took it down, it would have rallied us all up to support, you know, like, go after Warner Brothers. If it came out, it would have got people excited and raised money for AFSP. This is where I say it's unfortunate, because it fell at the top. And it was, to me, in my personal opinion, it was a very easy, avoidable mistake. And unfortunately, they didn't do the correct type of damage control. They went defensive rather than being like, hey, you guys bring up good points. Let's take a look at this. I know some people went after them about, you know, like, well, is the money actually going to AFSP? They shouldn't have even worried about that. I know that's, if they were getting that flag, they shouldn't have worried about, because if it's going to a great cause and you know it is, then there's nothing to worry about. You have nothing to, I mean, just like with us, and, you know, when we did the Feeding America thing for our super chat, all that money, technically YouTube took out, I think it's like 30% from our super chat. So it was $125. They end up making it $80 after they took their cut. And Corey and I still were like, well, screw it. Like, here's $125 of Feeding America, you know? So, I mean, it's just one of those scenes where if they were confident in what they were doing and they felt like there was no wrongdoing, they would have just pushed through, because it was a really cool idea. And I think the fact that it got that bad publicity from Screen Rant saying, oh, it's being traced, even though there were some things Screen Rant kind of got wrong in their article, they should have just made the adjustments like they said in their original tweet, and then moved on and pursued to make it better.
But in that later statement that was put out, though, he literally says in his thing that there were the legalities from Warner Brothers.
He did put that.
So he in effect admitted that it was Warner Brothers who shut it down. He basically says Warner Brothers shut it down. It was a cease and desist from WB.
I think they shut it down. Warner Brothers shut it down because of that bad publicity. Because you didn't, I mean, according to Matt, when he did an interview, I think with Nicotina, and he said they had reached out to Warner Brothers and got the okay and let them know what they were doing. I think once it got a bad publicity from Screen Rant with, they're tracing artwork, then they were like, okay, done. Because it hurt the integrity of the project when that article, whether it was true or not, it hurt the project.
I agree with you in that, and the fact that then, of course, they were using SAG-AFTRA actors, and whenever you use real actors for a fan project, you still have to have contracts, and there's still legalities involved with that. So I don't think that was necessarily going to win them any favors with Warner Brothers either. If you're going to do something like that, it has to be for fans by fans. It has to be a fan-made project, and they probably would have been okay. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
And and I mentioned it the other day, or the other stream that we had, the fact that they went on the offensive after that, that they once they didn't really apologize, they started going after people who were in the community and started attacking people. Like I heard you were one of the targets, Zod. That's just crazy to me. Like what are they thinking?
I think Zod and Sil were attacked a bit for it, and I mean, Will Rollins, even though he had he had fair questions that he was asking, I really feel like his questions weren't trying to be offensive. He was, I mean, here's the unfortunate
Will
thing.
was looking out for the actors.
Exactly.
Will was looking out for because for example, Scott Fowler, the actor who wants to be the Riddler in the Snyderverse, has a little part as the Riddler in the motion comic. And he was Scott Fowler was all excited about his role and kind of looked at it as kind of like, him finally getting to play the Riddler and something connected to Zack Snyder's films. And Will Rollins just put out, some advice as an actor, because Will Rollins is an actor, and he knows he's been involved in a lot of like feature films and stuff. And he, and he was just giving friendly advice to Scott Fowler. At no point did I feel like Will was being disrespectful to anyone.
Agreed. Let's go ahead and address
for people. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, let's go ahead and address the super chat. Another $10 from Bat Fanatic, dude. Thank you so much. You just said, just want to say this is awesome. I agree. Like, I'm so happy that like people were able to come on and join us tonight. Like, thank you guys so much. Seriously, when we were doing this 1 year celebration show, I was like, man, I want to get people on so we can just geek out and have a good time and raise money for AFSP. So thank you so much, Bat Fanatic. And we got a little video clip for you, sir.
That's so sweet.
Thank you so much, Bat Fanatic. Yeah, I think it really is sad that they canceled it. Unfortunately, it wasn't handled correctly, because I think it was a cool project. I think the thing is, and maybe they misunderstood this, the team that was leading it, is that while they were putting in the hard work and the effort into this project, and I understand that's very tough and you're doing it for free. So anytime someone's criticizing, it's like, shut up, I'm doing this for free. I understand that. But to me, it's kind of like, unfortunately, because this was a Restore the Snyderverse project and they had Ray Porter, Harry Lennox, all these people attached to it, while I think they took it as in oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? They took it as I'm totally spacing the word, but basically we felt some form of responsibility to this project because it represents us. You know, it represents our community. So we all felt like this had high stakes because we didn't want to see Warner Brothers take it down. We knew this thing was going to be put on articles and it was going to talk about our community, you know, because we're toxic according to Warner Brothers. So everyone felt like they had a hand in this, even though we weren't physically a part of it. It was one of those scenes where, like, if this doesn't go well, this is going to reflect badly on us. So please make sure you're doing,
you know, and again, Trey, we can thank Scum Rant for putting out misinformation. I mean, that's the other thing. You know, that we don't need misinformation. If you're gonna criticize, and you're gonna do that, criticize for what really is out there to criticize. Don't put out misinformation. I know somebody had said that, you know, they put that line in. That line was put in by mistake. It was no mistake. They knew what they were doing when they said that. They knew that they were setting the seeds. And the reason why they did that is because the people associated with Scum Rant don't like the people who are some of the people who were in charge at the top of the motion comic, and they were directing that line at them to make it look like they were grifting and stealing money from people.
Yeah. No, you guys are absolutely right. I really appreciate all your guys' takes on this, because this is interesting, because obviously we have Alessandro, who's an artist himself and a very talented artist. I mean, you made a quick drawing of the panel when we're on Sill's show, like super quick. I was like, wow, bro. Like, to me, I was like so impressed by that.
Alessandro, you are great. You are great, man.
Yeah. I know, but you did it Alessandro so too. Yeah, I mean, you're humble, so
you are awesome.
Man, I really thought that was cool. But let's go ahead. I know the Justice League motion comic. I'm sad that it didn't work out the way we were hoping it would. I hear there's another team that's kind of doing the same thing now.
That's true. That is indeed true. There's a second team, especially linked to the VFX artists that actually published a tweet announcing that they will actually continue the work with the pieces that they already have made, because they are not very happy also with the situation.
Yeah.
So they are maybe Lycos is maybe not in charge anymore, but we can still keep going. And they are being what I like is they are not taking sides. They are not trashing on anyone. They are just, we love the fandom and we love the idea that Flightcast had, so we're going forward with this. And I thought that's a very fair position. And
I agree.
That's really great. That's really great. Somebody picking it up saying, just because this guy cut and run doesn't mean the rest of us.
Yes. Thank you, Zod.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. Like, it shouldn't have been canceled. It wasn't like, even though, like I said, I'm not putting this on the artist. The fact that people are saying,
you got to put it on the director.
Exactly. You know, but the fact that he was like, oh, we got to cut and run now. And it was like, why? I mean, this is not an unsalvageable project. I mean, you can still continue on and just do it right. You know, it's not the end of the world. The project's not out yet. You haven't released anything other than a few photos, but you haven't actually released the full video. So they had plenty of time to kind of re-gear it and get it back together. But unfortunately, I think because the director took a defensive approach.
But being fair, everyone was piling on at that point. Everyone from all sides were piling on. Sadly, I'm not saying now, toxic fandom, but there were some people in our fandom that were.
Well, here's the caveat.
That's a problem. No, but that's a problem, Zod, because even that we are surrounded. Even the people we like, we all have some asshole friends, and sometimes we love them. We love them a lot. And they
love those assholes.
That's me. Trey's always like, oh,
I was trying to. I wasn't pointing at you, Zod. I'm pointing at.
Here's the caveat. Here's the caveat to all that, though. Even the people involved in the project, didn't know that it was Warner Brothers who shut this thing down. The director of the project led everybody underneath him to believe that the project was being shut down because of toxic fandom.
Yeah.
That goes to show you how horrible the top of the chain when it comes to this project really was. You're using your vendettas against different people in the fandom to make them look responsible when you know full well that the only reason this thing was shut down is because Warner Brothers told you need to stop.
Yeah, it was really weird that they sent out sorry, go ahead, Alessandro.
But as Trey was also mentioning, Warner Brothers tell them to stop because of the bad press, and that was due to the old piling that everyone's feeling. Well, yes, you could blame the Lightcast because it's because they weren't able to manage it correctly, but people were piling on a lot, so that created a lot of bad press.
Sure, yeah.
Well, it's really the only real bad press was Scum Rant's article. That was the bad press because Scum Rant said that they were basically stealing money from people. Said, well, part of the money is going to AFSP, part of the money is going to the fandom. Well, wait a minute, then I want my motion comic stimulus check. What are you talking about, Scum Rant?
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, it's like I said, it's unfortunate that, well, actually it's not unfortunate anymore. If someone else is continuing it, then hey, maybe a new form of leadership, and everyone knows what to expect with the project, because I mean it's the artists who knew what their vision was, and now they can just continue on and do what it was originally meant for. What's up, Lucas Ironside? It's good to see you, bro. So I mean, I hope this new project does well. I think, isn't it called like Fallen Gods? Something like that.
Oh wait,
it's like Justice League motion.
Isn't
comics.
that Jeffrey's? No, I thought that was Jeffrey's script.
Is it?
No.
No, my script is Justice League Pandora's Box. That's mine.
Yeah, I think because Jeffrey, you're trying to avoid like anything that has DC copyrights to it, so you're not even calling Justice League comic thing. You're doing your own thing, but using the story of the storyboards, basically, kind of similar to what Zack is going to be doing with Rebel Moons.
Yeah, because like pretty much for me, like all I'm going to be using is the words Justice League and just the heroes' names, and that's really pretty much it.
Awesome. That's so cool, dude. I'm excited to see that project. Let me know as you get closer to releasing it, and we can bring you back on for the show and talk about it. And because I mean, anytime we can support like creativity and ideas and artwork like that, like I totally dig that stuff. So let us know where you're at in the process with that, and we'll get you back on for the show. But let's go ahead and move away from the Justice League motion comic. And let's talk about, this is actually pretty funny because Corey and I literally just did a live stream where we talked about the Batgirl casting rumors, because they were like, yeah, this is the short list for it. And literally the very next day they picked Leslie Grace for Batgirl. So it was kind of like, okay, so the short list was actually like, this is people we're thinking about, but this is the girl. So out of curiosity,
I think Zoe was winning in our polls. I think the majority of people.
Yeah, I was team Zoe. I'm sorry, Zoe looks just Zoe looks just like Barbara Gordon, like straight out of the comics. Hell, I don't know why they wouldn't pick her. True. I don't know. Zack probably would have picked her.
They didn't pick her because already they are trying to put the idea that now Gordon is a black man, so of course his daughter would be half. Okay,
so it's going to be
half Latina,
so it's going to be tied to the Robert Pattinson.
It's not actually, because they said in an article that they are going to cast a new James Gordon as well. So it's going to be.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's its own thing.
It's just weird.
So then Zoe not being cast, I guess is, I don't know. That's confusing to me. That
Zoe all the way. It's kind of interesting. So what's that, Jeffrey?
I'll be honest. Really, for me, I was hoping that Anna Taylor-Joy was going to be Batgirl.
Ooh.
Because really, if you just watch the Queen's Gambit, like that to me was like, okay, that's Batgirl right there.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Out of curiosity, so you had Anna Taylor, Jeffrey. What did you guys have a different actress not a part of this group, guys?
I once liked the idea that if Batgirl was going to appear with Batfleck, I would have loved the idea of Emma Thompson. What the hell? No, Gwen Stacy. What Emma was her?
Emma... Bryce Dallas Howard.
No, what the heck?
Emma Stone. You're talking about from Amazing Spider-Man.
Emma Stone, exactly. She would have playing a very nice.
Sorry, I was going back to Spider-Man 3.
Emma Stone would have been good, especially if we got to see her become Oracle. I could totally see her in those scenes with the glasses and the wheelchair and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
She already has the proper age to be a Batgirl, so maybe because in my opinion, I wouldn't have done the origin of Batgirl. I would have already started with a very established Batgirl that is already working alongside with Batman or in his own missions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're going to do the origin story, right? I think.
That I'm not sure exactly with this because according to Sil and Mikey Sutton on Geekosity, they were saying that Batgirl is not even going to have Batman in the universe. She's going to be the Batman of her universe.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Yeah, which to me, that's kind of like, what are you guys doing? I mean, you overuse Batman anyways. Why not overuse him here too?
Yes, when you finally need it.
They pretty much they've casted so many Batman.
Yeah.
And Trey, I think I can find the answer to that. Back in 2013, the news came out that David S. Goyer got that weird note about how WB didn't think that. Yeah, that whole.
I can actually read it here for you guys. I have that pulled up on my phone. So David Goyer, who was one of the writers, he did the Dark Knight trilogy with Christopher Nolan, and he did Man of Steel, and he did the initial one of BVS before Chris Terrio took over. But he had an interview recently because he was talking about his new project, Sandman, and the interviewer asked him, okay, like, what was the worst note you have received from a producer other than being told put less magic in Doctor Strange script, because he wrote that, which is great, but you've told that one before. And here's what David Goyer said. One note I got was on Man of Steel, where the ending involved Superman utilizing the pod that he arrived in as a child in order to bring down General Zod's ship. The note we got from the studio said, you have to change that. We asked, why? They said, because if Superman uses that pod and it's destroyed while saving the city, how is he ever going to get back home to Krypton?
Like for real, like when I read that, my immediate reaction was, man, my 5-year-old self can run WB better than
Oh man, yeah. Can you believe that shit? This is the same team that didn't understand the Speed Force in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and they want to tackle a multiverse.
Right. How confusing is this going to be without an end game? like that's really the thing. Like, I know a way you can, like, really, I think all comic book fans of DC know how you can end the multiverse plot and wrap it all into one. And really, that's Darkseid, because it really, if you go back to the Final Crisis, that's really how the multiverse goes. The multiverse versus Darkseid. So it's like, why didn't you? So it's like, why don't you keep Zack when he actually name dropped the multiverse several times in Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Yeah,
it's just so crazy. Like, I would actually like someone to record a video of how those meetings go down in the boardroom and then post it all over the internet to just see what it was like.
Now, there's got to be a polar bear in the movie. There's got to be polar bears, and we got to have a mechanical spider. We need it. It's got to be in the movie. There's no sense, animals, and there's no context for it, but we need it.
They're the most dangerous animals in the animal kingdom.
Right.
Well, in that case, we should have had Superman fighting the hippo, like at the beginning of Justice League when the kid asked Superman if he ever fought a hippo. That scene should have been in the movie by the logic of these executives.
I would actually like someone to meme that. Like, I would actually like someone to meme that a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like when Warner Brothers told Zack during Man of Steel that why can't the Kents be from Chicago? And it's like, do you guys read your own damn comics? Like, what the hell is going on here? I really think they don't.
Don't put them in Chicago. Put them in Wakanda.
Oh my God, Alexandra!
Oh my God, that's amazing.
This is really how stupid.
Oh, I love this one.
This is really.
Oh, that's perfect. Perfect, y'all.
This is.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, this is really.
I would love to see it in like stop motion animation, him fighting the hippo.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, this is how stupid. This is how dumb that note. How dumb that note was that David Goyer put out. Like, when I first read that, I was drinking my coffee and I actually had to stop for a bit because I thought someone spiced my coffee with drugs and I read that wrong.
Is this water or vodka?
Because, dude, that really does sound really cartoony, like you would find that somewhere in the Harley Quinn show. But the fact that it actually happened and that conversation actually went down is crazy to me.
I think it's what happened. What usually happens with this kind of producers is that they are very well. Most of them study finances. They are very well. They are very good at spotting things that sell quotes better. For example, I see action sells better. Like, of course, action sells better. This actor sells better. Of course, they have a good eye for those kinds of things. However, most of them don't come from a filming background. They are usually or accountability or from for accountability. What's the name of the profession? Okay, they're usually people that know about numbers. They don't know about storytelling, and that's the key problem usually. When I was studying with other a lot of many film students, most of them wanted to be producers because in my country, many of the producers that we have on television and doing films don't know crap about storytelling. But why are they in those places? Because they have the money. So they have a good eye to invest on stuff, but they don't know how to tell a story. So when they read your script, they just read a few pages and they're like, okay, to the end. Oh, okay, this sells more. There you go. Do your film. Or they don't even read your script and then you say what actor is going to have.
But Al, the thing that makes it dumber is that David S. Goyer said that they saw the first 30 minutes. Oh
my God, it's true.
The Krypton scene ends in the first 17 minutes.
Oh shit, it's true. Because they should have already saw the film. So they just forgot. They forgot about the first half of the film.
Seriously, that just goes to show you producers are not even paying attention to what they're watching when they're in the room. Their minds are on like 200 million different things while they're in there. And they're not thinking about the film at all. That's the only way you can get away with making those types of notes.
I bet you they're the jerks on their phones during, as they're watching the movie.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those scenes where it doesn't inspire much confidence, and I can't imagine. Could you think about being Zack and David Goyer in that moment where they're like, why can't it go back to Krypton? And you just stare at them and you're like, maybe that's why they hate Zack, is they felt like idiots the entire time they were with him.
Right. They had no idea what was going on. Like, we don't know Zack.
And people ask why the movies and people ask why the movies of in DC usually are a bit, I'm not saying all, but sometimes they have some details that are a bit lackluster, and it's because the studio isn't supporting the directors. The director's already like 10 miles ahead, and it's like, oh my god, hi guys, how are you doing? and the studio is like back there. It's like they're they're finally catching their breath, and like, oh my god, where the hell is this guy?
You know what they need to do? Like the next time Warner Brothers or really anyone, DC Films tries to give anyone notes, they just, whoever they're giving notes to, that person just needs to respond like this.
So shut up, bitch.
Imagine having a Spielberg producing DC film again. I would have loved that.
You're talking about the whole. Oh gosh, what was it? The birds.
There was a team. There was a team film on the Second World War.
Yes,
it was going to be a spin-off of a
totally
team.
Spacing it.
What the hell was the thing? Team Eagles? What the hell?
No, it was something like that. Yeah. Oh man, that's gonna bum me now. I can't think of what that is.
Yeah, and Spielberg was going to produce this film, and I was excited for that until it was canceled. But they should give Spielberg power in the comic book industry again, because that guy is at least very efficient with the things he produces. I mean, when he is producer, direct producer, not when he's executive, because an executive doesn't know crap about what the hell the film is. Usually it happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, you got Jeff Johns there, and Walter Hamada, who don't know shit. I mean, to me, it's kind of like when it comes to Steven Spielberg, I mean, obviously, like the legendary director who's given us like masterpieces of our time. He has often said that he hates sequels, like he won't touch them. So I think that's what kind of is like alarming for him to like get into the universe.
Did you hear about the ET sequel he wanted to make?
You're talking about like the horror one, right? Where it's like the evil aliens that are fighting against.
He wanted to make that.
Even though it probably wasn't the right direction for ET, that would have been cool.
Isn't that called Independence Day?
The aliens literally would have been probing children, though. I mean, that wouldn't have been.
I should not have swallowed right there.
No, that's not. That's not okay.
That's James Gunn, though.
That wouldn't have been cool. That would not have been cool.
Justice League flashbacks right then, dude. Don't do that again.
Reese's Pieces are pulling their sponsorships.
That he wanted to do, and then he didn't want to do a sequel for Jaws. He wanted to do a prequel for Jaws.
Yeah, the Annapolis with Quinn. That, to me, that would have been a story that needed to happen. I actually listened to a whole documentary about that idea that he had. And Warner Brothers did want to do it. The problem was he was filming Close Encounters of the Third Kind at the time, and they weren't willing to wait for him. They're like, we have the actors here. We have the boats ready to go. The director, like, you need to come back now if you want to do this. And he's like, I'm filming a movie, bro. You're going to have to wait. And they were like, nope, we're continuing. And then Jaws 2 wasn't awful.
I bet they wish they would have waited for him, because
that would have been a masterpiece. I still think they should do it, though. Like, they should.
They could still do it. Really, they could.
They reached out to him like a couple months ago about it, saying like, "Hey, can we do this?" And he was like, "No." Jaws needs to die. Just let it go.
he's like, you know what? If you want a shark movie, you can watch Sharknado. I'm out of here.
Although I would be totally down if we had a Back to Future type reality where it's like Jaws 30,001 or something like that.
The shark still looks fake.
Do you guys still think they're going to do this? Because I was hearing rumors about a Back to the Future reboot. What do you guys think?
No, they can't. They can't.
I don't think they can.
Zemeckis has it in his contract that even after he dies, they can't remake Back to the Future.
That's probably a smart move because
make any sequel.
Michael J. Fox.
You know what? That's actually really smart with the whole remake culture that's going on in Hollywood. And really speaking of the whole sequels and non-sequel stuff, did you hear about James Wan not doing Aquaman 3?
I did. Yeah, it's something that he gets bored.
Well, I gotta ask, would you want to work for Warner Brothers in these conditions?
No. Really, no. Especially with the whole Amber Heard situation. I can really understand why James Wan would want to distance himself from Amber for now.
but you got that.
But
go for it.
I would. But if they offered me a job, I would instantly say yes. Sell. I will sell my soul. Yes.
Really?
Yes. No. But depends. I will. At least if I at least stay for some years, I will of course lose like 5 years of my life in a project. Yeah. All right. It's a small amount. It's a small cost. If after that I can later say, okay, I'm out. Fuck off. I take my money. Tim Burton said this. Sometimes when you don't have enough money, you can sell a bit of yourself. Sometimes, that's why Tim Burton calls himself a bit. Sometimes you have to be a bit.
Yeah, Tim Burton also said he would rather jump out of a window than make another Batman movie. So that kind of tells you a lot of stuff, you know.
Really, like for me, like if I would like Al said that he would sell a little something to him, like. For me, like I would be a really tough customer to crack to really sign myself to something, because to me, like I would, if you actually did know me in my youth, and man, I sound old when I say that, but when I was younger, I for people who I knew were lying to me, really, I would just give them like the Terminator face. And say nothing to him, like literally,
just there.
Like literally, like here's an actual story about that actually goes into context. Like when I was little, I would actually be very quiet in front of my teacher, and I really like pay attention to her, and the teachers thought that I needed to get my hearing checked, and it turns out that I had a perfect hearing. And then my mom actually told the teacher, "Oh, he just doesn't like you." Like, really, I would be that kind of dude. Like, that's an actual story, and that's actually what it would be like, especially to Walter Amato or Toby Emmerich. Just being saying like, dude, I know you're lying. Just stop.
Who wants to talk?
I just saw Corey like, oh.
It's so like I thought that was hilarious. You know, I tell you one thing. If we know Warner Brothers aren't really watching what the video is going or the movie is going to be anyways, I would say, yeah, this is called Justice Team 2. And I'm going to bring in Ray Fisher, but I won't tell you guys that until the end. black suit Superman because they didn't even know about that, you know, like, oh, wear the blue suit, don't worry, we're going to color that shit out later, you know. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Zack did that, where they were fighting him so hard about the blue suit, like, no, it needs to be the blue suit, and he's like, dude, it's in the comics. He comes back, he wears the black suit, and they're like, no, it needs to be the blue suit. People hate that shit. And it's like, shut the hell up. And then he was like, okay, I'll let him wear the blue suit. He's like, I'm just gonna go in the editing room and change it to black. You guys, like,
I just need the
IP. Savage.
Yeah, that's how slick Zack was. Like, he actually said, oh, I'll just put a little silver line here, silver line here, so then I can edit it in the editing room. Like, that's really how slick Zack was.
It looks perfect. It looks perfect. You can't even tell that it's a blue suit. Like,
like it's so awesome. Like, could you imagine if you were the executive producer, like, well, Jeff Johns, arguing with Zack the entire time about no, it needs to be the blue suit, and then
Jeff
you sit
Johns
down
is
and
a
watch his
comic book guy.
Yeah. And that's the irritating part. But he sits down, he's like, okay, let's see what you got, Zack. And all of a sudden he sees Superman in the black suit. He's like, what the fuck?
It's just a really dark navy.
Yeah, the problem is navy. The problem with Jeff Johns is that he got like traumatized with Man of Steel. He so
color
much
grading.
Yes, he hated Man of Steel because it's weird because Jeff Johns also does these freaking dark comics. But for Superman, he likes to pretend. He likes to pretend that his take on Superman is that, oh my god, I love Christopher Reeve, of course. But when he freaking writes, where the hell's my comic? Where the hell's my
find it, Alessandro?
When he writes his Superman, he's a freaking thug. He's like, for example, there's one comic in this comic.
Yeah, exactly.
His Superman is a douche.
You muted yourself, huh?
Oh, Alessandro, you're muted. You're muted, buddy. There you go.
Before anyone tell me, oh my god, but later he improved maybe a bit. But the first time he talked about Superman, he was writing him like, oh yes, the Flash, of course. Do you see those helicopters? Yes, let's going to bring them down. And Flash is like, what the hell are you doing? They're just working. They are just working for someone else. They're just following orders. And Superman's like, they should have thought about that first. I'm like, fuck.
Really, I think.
And then he says,
I think they should have listened.
Flash says, they're only doing their jobs. And Superman says, you seem like someone who wants to do the right thing, but that can't always be said for everyone in position of authority. And he takes a helicopter and brings him down. It's like, in that same comic, he's also bursting buildings.
And that's the thing. It's like Jeff Johns is like Two-Face. It's kind of like the Spider-Man thing where you have Sony Spider-Man and MCU Spider-Man. Where you have comic Jeff Johns, who's like really good and very dark with his comics, but then in movies, starting off with the Green Lantern, he's really not that good. It's like he's a completely different person in the movie world compared to the comics.
It's true. I think what happened is that he probably wanted something dark in the movies, but Zack Snyder already started like very hard with a very nice and sleek way to present Superman in a very grounded world. And that went so hard on him that it was, oh my god, what the hell am I going to do? He already developed everything that he wanted to do. So now let's do it right. Why not? So because that's what I heard in his interviews with Zack. He's always mentioning that he wants to go for the hope, and he wants to do it in a more. Do you guys heard that in every interview?
And his Superman and Lois interviews, he said the same thing.
Yeah,
hope and positivism. It's like,
did you just say hope?
Hope starts with an H, stupid.
Okay, stop.
Face it. You're late.
You're wearing eye makeup.
Fuck you.
Is that from the porn parody?
No,
That's college humor. That's college
That's
humor.
from a Batman
Oh,
from
okay.
College Humor.
I couldn't remember. I mean, I remember seeing so
often
many,
show porn on my show.
so many of those back when
like to get
Batman
salty
v
on here,
Superman
you know.
came out.
Yes.
Well, back when Batman v Superman came out, there were so many different parodies that came out. I couldn't remember if that was the porn one.
I appreciate Zod saying that, especially with you sitting on the red casting couch right now. So that's
That's right. That's right.
I do want to mention real quick, Trey. We're at the top of the hour, so if you want to do another plug-in.
Oh, yeah, let's go ahead. So welcome everyone who is in the show with us at the moment. We are doing our 1-year anniversary of the Bat Channel live stream event where we are raising money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So every dollar you put into the super chats, whether you have a question for us or you just want to support, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, go ahead and hit that super chat. And we have fun little video clips for you guys. And we're going to be donating in honor of Autumn Snyder. So every little dollar goes a long way to helping those in need. So please.
And we're already at like $35 today within the first hour for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So awesome.
Hell. That's fantastic. Wow. Thank you guys so much. I mean, this is, like I said, this is literally why I started this channel, is because one, I wanted to build a community to hang out with people like Zod, Alessandro, and Jeffrey, and that one guy, super bro, whatever his name is. But to more importantly,
this is the reason why I was happy and excited that you started this channel, because I'm going to be able to talk to other people like all these guys here with us tonight. So bringing in the community has been absolutely fantastic and amazing. Like, I can't believe we have the panel that we have going on tonight. I'm pumped.
Yeah, no, I agree. This has been a complete blast. And do you see how we've gone on like tangents? Because this is how you can tell when people are geeks, when they're like talking about something and it goes into like a million degree different direction, and you're just like, how the hell did we get to here?
Oh my God.
No, it's been a blast, guys. So out of curiosity, to kind of thank you, Corey, for letting me know about we're on the hour, but to get back into what we were discussing earlier. Leslie Grace as Batgirl, you guys for it or against it? Or are you like, no, this is just going to be a nightmare? It's Batgirl in its own universe. Not going to happen. Not going to watch it on HBO Max.
For me, it's really meh. Really, I'm kind of open to it. I haven't seen the heights yet, but to me, I'm really like meh. I'll have to wait and see what the promotion is going to be like. So that's where I stand.
And then how about you, Alessandro?
Same is meh, because it's a change. Like, it's weird. Like, every time now more characters like from a certain background are now adapted. It's like, oh, and now this character is Afro-American. And now this character is a person of color. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but why? I mean, I don't see you adapt. I'm Latin American. I'm from South America, Peru. We are all brown. We see movies with brown people too. It's not like we are like in need of. Oh my God, I cannot identify with this person. I cannot identify with this character. Why? Because his skin is brighter. Wow. Can you believe it? It's like, no, it's like, we don't care. Wow. But the detail is that when I see this, and when my friends see this, like, I have friends that actually analyze films. They are filmmakers actually, and they see this and they're like, yeah, it's pointless. Why they change it? Unless they want to say, oh, because now as a Black Latin American woman, we can express the point of view of a minority. And it's like, maybe, but that wasn't a factor or a key element of the Bat of Barbara Gordon. Barbara was never defined because she was a minority. She was just a girl done. Even if she was okay, even for example, let's say she always was a Black girl in comics. It wasn't affecting her character clearly at all, because Gordon still has a good position in Gotham. Of course, Gotham is a shithole, but still, it was good enough. She is a very intelligent girl. she was never defined by her color of the skin. So now, so I could say, okay, then it's just superficial. Okay, we can make her black. Okay, sure, and I'm okay do it, but at least as Batgirl, it matters because usually black girls don't have red hair, and I think it works very well having a Batgirl with a red flowing hair because it looks striking. It's like having it's like having Bruce Wayne. It's like having Superman with blonde. It's like having a blonde Superman. Imagine that.
Yeah.
It would fit in the story, but it doesn't add anything. And you would say, but why the change? Having a blonde Superman just doesn't fit. And in this case, it's the same for me, unless they do like they did in the Lego Batman film. They had a brown Batgirl, but she had the sweet red hair that works perfectly. And I think if they're going with this Latin American Batgirl, cool. But the design also matters for me because I'm an artist. So at least keep her. Either you give her a wig, or you have a ginger Latin American, because there are also Latin Americans that paint their hair or have dyed hairs. That it happens. So they can make it. But I feel they don't. They won't. Why? Because they don't fucking care.
Yeah. You bring up some really good points, Alessandro. But first, let's address the super chat. Holy hell! The release of Snyder guy. Like literally, I'm like blown away.
You
like,
didn't need to do that.
It's finally here.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Like,
speechless.
Oh my God,
He says, hashtag for autumn, you guys rule. Hashtag the regime. The regime?
Wow.
Is that? What is that about?
I think he's referring to us.
Yes, he's talking about us. See,
like that's going to be our panel name? Hashtag the regime? I kind of dig that. Is that from like Injustice?
Yes, they put that from Injustice.
I kind of dig that, bro. Like that's totally what we're going to call this group, the regime. I dig it. What's your thoughts on the Snyderverse, dead or alive? First off, you're amazing, bro. Seriously, I'm like blown away. We will talk about that in just a moment, so we're not going to forget it. But Corey, let's go ahead and play him the $100 super chat. Like,
woohoo! Bro. I'm so excited to play this one.
How did you get the house back from the bank? I bought the bank.
And you just bought all of our hearts.
Yeah.
Man, wow. Like seriously, release the Snyder Cut guy. Thank you so much. That is going to go a long way to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Hashtag for autumn, man. Like I'm literally speechless by your generosity, but that like, wow. Corey, please, I'm sure I won't forget, but please make sure I don't forget about his question about the thoughts on the Snyderverse, dead or alive, because we will talk about that in a little bit. But let's go ahead and move on to our next topic with, I don't know if you guys saw this.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Zod Rider.
Yes, Zod Rider. What does he thinks? He thinks about the Barbara casting.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, about Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she could have red hair. I mean, black women do have red hair too. You can give her red hair. You can give her red hair and make her. And if she represents the personality and she has the physicality of Barbara Gordon and she's a good actress, she could pull it off. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I don't think that they really care about casting right now so much as identity politicking.
Yes, exactly.
I think it's like what Alessandro was saying, which I completely agree with. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this actress. This actress is a beautiful actress, and I'm sure she can act really well. But what's the reason for casting her as Barbara Gordon? I guess only they know. It's cool.
Yeah. Corey, how about you?
I think it always goes back to me as this is not what I want. Like, I don't want this yet. I still want the Snyderverse to be restored. So it's like, for me, like, yes, I'm sure she's going to do a good job. I'm not opposed to her by any means whatsoever, but it's not what I'm looking for. It's not what my heart wants right now. And, they're kind of teasing me with some other things here and there. And yeah, I'll watch it and I'm sure she'll do a good job, but it's in the end, it's not what I want right now.
It's not about what we want anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Obviously, we're just we're just here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel kind of the same way. I mean, to me, it does feel like a political casting rather than this is the best choice. I think she could do a very good job. I did watch In the Heights, which was a pretty good musical film, and I thought she was brilliant in it. I mean, I don't see her as Batgirl, but I'm willing to give her a chance just because Batfleck caught me off guard. I was originally really against Batfleck, and when I saw him in that photo, I was like, holy hell, like he's gonna be the best Batman ever.
Because from what I understood, like for me, when Ben Affleck was casted, I was really on board with him from the get-go because I remember Batman. Because when I first saw him, I was like that instant when I just saw him as Bruce Wayne, I just immediately had in my mind a immediate comparison with Bruce Wayne from the animated series, and I was like, yes, that is perfect. But a lot of people, from what I understood, didn't really like the casting of Ben Affleck as Batman from the get-go, which now everyone has eaten their words.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you said that, Jeffrey, because I was the same way. I was down for him as Batman, and I even told Trey, I was like, I bet you he's going to be the perfect, mix of both Bruce Wayne and Batman.
He's got the chin.
He does.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
That was my whole thing. That was my whole thing.
He literally has the chin. He has the hair. The actual bone structure,
right off the page.
No, what convinced me was this is very weird. I loved him as Daredevil, so
I thought he did a great job.
I even though he received a Razzie for it, that's weird. So
everyone actually says the director's cut of Daredevil is actually better than the.
It is.
Yes,
fantastic.
They told me.
Yep.
I need to.
I just have this picture of you, Zod, putting, like a phone up to their head, and just like, oh, yep, that chin works there. So
it's like that theme from Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel,
that Jimmy Kimmel video. That was such perfection.
Wait, you're Batman.
That whole skit was amazing. Let me just.
Hey, fuck off. Oh man, that's
I'll rip your balls off.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just ever since that. I mean, it's like with Robert Pattinson. Even though, to me now, I don't think anyone will be able to beat Batfleck just because I was a huge Frank Miller Dark Knight Return fan, and that's literally what he was. So I think Robert Pattinson's going to do a good job. But I think because of Ben Affleck, I'm willing to give people who I thought would be terrible more of a chance, because originally I thought, and it's kind of funny because Zack actually talked about how he tried to figure out if Man of Steel could be part of the Dark Knight universe. And to me, it was like, you had the successful Dark Knight trilogy. Why not just continue that? He can be a Dark Knight Returns coming back. People already know Christian Bale. It's a successful trilogy. And
didn't Christian Bale die? To me, it's kind of still. To me, when I still watch The Dark Knight Rises, it's still kind of in between. I still think it's kind of a hallucination that of Christian Bale being alive. Because can someone really confirm to me, did Christian Bale's Batman die?
Well, Alfred does seem at the French cafe.
Jeffrey, but then what is the purpose of the scene with Morgan Freeman talk with the workers talking about the autopilot? Then what's the point of that?
Oh yeah, did you check the patch on the software?
Oh my God, what the heck?
Really, not a lot of people actually choose to remember this, but I actually looked this up, and people didn't actually think Heath Ledger would be a great Joker.
Good point.
So really, it's like.
No, that's true.
So really, to me, I'm not judging him off the Twilight series at all. One, because I haven't seen it, and two, really, I just really think that with the direction of Matt Reeves, I really think Robert Pattinson can be a good Batman.
I agree. I think he can be good, and I think he's going to be with a good director. I think Matt Reeves, what he did with the Planet of the Apes films, I thought were pretty good. Other than, I still say, while War of the Planet of the Apes was a great film, it shouldn't have been called War of the Planet of the Apes because there was literally no war. It was the aftermath, pretty much.
I can't remember this. So obviously, Daredevil director cut is better. I didn't realize that there was a director cut.
I have it on Vudu if you want to watch it, buddy.
Really? But Kevin Smith was in it. I know they're friends, but
he plays like a forensic doctor or something like that.
Oh, that's great! It's been so long since I've seen that movie. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, which Kevin Smith, shout out to him. He's got Clerks 3 in production right now.
Yeah, but he also made Masters of the Universe, so no shout out for him. So screw him.
Oh, you're not a fan of Master of the Universe? I've never seen it. Full disclosure.
I will watch it today. Hopefully, it won't.
As a new guy, I actually loved it.
I will watch it today, so I'm planning to love it. Because people already supposedly are giving me spoilers, and I'm like, oh, tell me.
That sucks. That's the worst.
I have to be honest. I saw it and I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
all the episodes. I watched the entire thing. I thought it was great
in one day.
Yeah, and really, like for me,
the episode. There's only 5 episodes, and they're only about 25 minutes each.
Oh, I didn't realize it was so short.
Okay,
and that's really the thing that I've looked at the negativity for the Masters of the Universe revelation. Like, people were saying that it was woke and stuff, and I'm telling you right now, it really isn't. Like, I honestly was expecting I really was expecting a full-on He-Man experience, but as the title says, it's actually about the Masters of the Universe. It's not really a story about He-Man at all. Like, that's really the thing. I think
He-Man is actually the core of the story, though. It's more. It focuses on everything, and it has a much deeper story. But at its core, He-Man is the core of the story. If you're a fan of Masters of the Universe and you've grew up on the 80s cartoon, it's a perfect sequel.
I'm gonna have to check it out then.
Yeah, I'll have to, because I honestly have not watched any of them. I know of it, but it was just one of those scenes where it was never available to me.
Yeah, because I'm telling you right now, as someone who's 21 and someone who hasn't seen the original cartoon, I'm telling you right now, I think you're gonna love it.
Okay, so for someone who hasn't even seen the 80s show, you're like, yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah,
that could mean, but then that could mean that there were many false spoilers around, probably.
Hey, it's good to see you, man. Yeah. Okay. So we'll definitely have to chat. This is why I love you guys. You guys know that, like, already you're like, Alessandro hasn't seen it yet. He was like, damn it, spoilers. And you guys knew. I was like worried. I was like, oh crap, how far are they going to go in their explanations? And you guys were just like, we got this.
I think we are already very used to filtering, not talking about the spoilers. So
we're dealing with professionals, Trey.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, but see, that's the thing, is because Corey and I have a mutual friend who will it's his thing. He loves the spoil shit.
Yeah, like for example, Star Wars episode 7, he straight up told me, he saw it day of. He saw it opening night, and the next day when I saw him at work, he was like, yeah, so this guy, bam.
Dead.
I'm like, I'm not going to go anymore.
Speaking of Star Wars, did you guys hear about the casting announcements for a live-action Thrawn and Ezra Bridger?
No, who did they get?
Cast them.
So for Ezra Bridger, we're getting the dude who was in the live-action Aladdin. and for Thrawn, I honestly forgot the name, but yeah, like for Ezra, for Ezra Bridger, we're actually getting the dude who played Aladdin in the live action movie.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Huh. I'll have to check that out because I haven't heard. I mean, whatever Jon Favreau has done with the Star Wars universe, I won't lie. I hated the new trilogy. To me, it's like I don't even consider it part of the
Star Wars. Star Wars Rebels?
Oh yeah, I watched Rebels. I finally finished Clone Wars a couple months ago and have been watching the Bad Batch, which I mean, Clone Wars was such a badass show.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's man, you guys are so awesome. Like, really, see this, it's like a mutual thing. We all just love all this same shit where it's like, yeah, Star Wars, let's go into that. And yet this is like mainly a DC Godzilla Jurassic Park channel of weirdness, you know. But I mean, it's just funny
regime.
that.
Oh wait,
what's that? No, it's the regime. That's exactly it.
The regime.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were we saying, Alessandro?
Do you also talk about Godzilla? Did you saw when is the last? Wait, there's
Are you talking about Godzilla versus Kong?
No, I was talking about the new Godzilla film that is by Toho. It's an animated film for Japan.
Oh, are you talking about the anime series that just came out? The Godzilla Singular Point?
Singular Point, exactly. It already came out?
Yeah, well, at least in the US, it's come out on Netflix, and it's actually pretty good. I dig the design that they did for Godzilla. It's very different. They kind of took it through a Shin Gojira route, which, you know, to kind of show you multiple evolutions of Godzilla rather than his typical form. It was good. At first, it was like you could tell they were trying to do like some trickery in their story, so you had to like pay attention. But by the time it got to the answer, you were just like, what? The finale, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna have to watch that again and understand what the hell happened. But yeah, love Godzilla. Been a lifelong Godzilla fan. Corey could tell you a story of a certain Godzilla moment. He hates telling it.
So basically, long story short, I received a TV that had one of those DVD players attached to the DVDs or TV. So it's just this one unit, and it was a Japanese brand. And you know, I think I tried to pop in a bunch of movies and stuff that I wanted to watch, and nothing was working in the DVD. And it was a brand new TV. Trey's like, wait, it's a Japanese TV. Let me see if some of my, old Japanese Godzilla films work in it. And sure as shit, he comes downstairs running with all of his DVDs, and we pops them in, and man, of course, they start right up. Godzilla and the Japanese DVDs started working perfectly on it. I had to return it though. I was like, Trey loved loved those movies. I don't get me wrong, I liked those movies, but there's other movies that I want to watch. So
hey, don't deny it. You can throw in the Godzilla towel here. Like, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, yeah,
I'm telling you right now, though. I think Kong got rigged in that Godzilla versus Kong movie.
You think King Kong should have won?
Yep.
Yeah, like
Kong is not as epic really, sometimes. I'm talking about the old movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the issue. What they did with I mean, we won't go fully into Godzilla versus Kong just because I was not. I mean, it was fun just because it's Godzilla, right? Like, I enjoy the MonsterVerse, and I hope they make more of the MonsterVerse. In terms of the film, in my opinion, lacks story, but like the action was wonderful. And I honestly, because of Kong, of how he was in Skull Island, and getting beat up by helicopters, yeah, there's no way he was going to grow enough to beat Godzilla, because Godzilla was like, helicopters don't do anything to him. So, I mean, it was the fact that Godzilla kind of destroyed Kong was kind of fair. I'm glad they kind of did the BVS thing where somehow they came together and, fought off the bad guy. But
yes, that was sweet.
Save Mothra.
Yeah,
Save Mothra.
A lot of people were expecting Mothra to come out.
Oh my god, four monsters on screen and what a thing.
Oh man, but let's go ahead and go into the next topic with I don't know if you guys heard about this, but comicbook.com recently had an interview with
you scared me. That almost looked like Pornhub.
Yeah. They were well, hey, you know, I figured Jeffrey D. Morgan
I was thinking the same thing, Alessandro.
All by design.
That's the second time we've talked about porn tonight.
Oh my god. Well, you know, they were married in a certain film called Batman v Superman. They were Thomas and Martha Wayne, so of course he would, you know, give her the desired eyes, you know.
Talk about turning to bed, fellows.
Someone was too horny designing that.
Yeah, but they did an interview today with, I believe, the host of Second Printing from comicbook.com, and they had talked about the Flashpoint idea. And here, Corey, do we have the video clip pulled up? I want to show the guys and get their take on it.
Yeah, let's bring it up.
I'm sure you guys have talked about this at some point, but I've never had the two of you together for an interview. And I have to address the fact, as a comic book movie fan, you guys were married in a movie. It was Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne, and then it switches to the next time I see you guys in anything together. It's one of the most tough scenes to shoot, the tough scenes to watch. Did you guys ever have to address the fact that you flipped that dynamic like that from Batman vs Superman to The Walking Dead?
I mean, I think it's something that we still can like giggle about and say, well, look where we started as a married couple. That had
love and hate are very strong bed.
It had a rough ending. You're right. And so in a way, maybe it's just a continuation of a rocky marriage if they hadn't been shot that day. But you know, I think people forget that Lauren and I have known each other for a long time and did get a chance to work together before, and also kind of just missed crossing paths on Supernatural, and you know, so we've got kind of this history together on screen prior to The Walking Dead, and of course, this is what we'll be remembered for, I think, primarily, except for guys like you, Brandon, who
have that deep bench of knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, I know I've asked you a million times if you're going to play Thomas Wayne ever again, and I still want to see that, but I've never asked Lauren about the Joker version.
I would love Let It Be Said and known and documented here.
We have discussed it. Lauren and I have talked about that for years. You know, I think her playing. I'd love to see her version of the Joker. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be so cool. Listen, multiverse, one of these days, you never know if they ever give Zack a chance.
It's true. You really never know with DC in particular. But you know, everything is so kind of complicated within the Snyderverse of it all.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. But you know, Lauren and I have made it clear, and we're doing it again now.
Okay. So clearly
this hasn't happened yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny how everybody knows what a mess Warner Brothers is, and nobody can deny it. Nobody can hide it. Nobody can even. You can see it all over their face. Warner Brothers is a complete disaster.
Yeah, it's clear that it's not a secret amongst cast and crew members that Warner Brothers is just trash.
They're like, it's really crazy how, like, I'm really perplexed on how this regime is still going on for however long they've been going.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the bullshit of the deal where it's like Zack had this plan, like this was going to be a theme. He did not just randomly select, hey, like let's throw in Jeffrey D. Morgan because he's the comedian in Watchmen. He had an idea because he knew Jeffrey D. Morgan wanted to be Thomas Wayne Batman, that at the end of his whole run of the DCU, he was going to give Warner Brothers an option to reboot the whole DC universe with a comic book accurate Flashpoint film.
Yeah,
and it's like,
again, that's what happens when you have producers that don't know crap about storytelling.
You're absolutely right, Alessandro. Like it's so honestly, it's depressing because it's like we were this close to greatness and they f***ed it up. Like, damn them. What's your thoughts on it, Zodwriter? Like, I mean, one, would you like to have seen Flashpoint Batman with Jeffrey D. Morgan and a Joker with Lauren Cohen?
Absolutely. I mean, and we talked about this earlier on the show. When Jeffrey was bringing up all that stuff about Jeff Johns, the reality is he's a great comic book writer. He writes some great stories, but when it comes to film, it's like there's some other version. There's like a duality, and it's just weird. And Warner Brothers, I don't know. Just like Alessandro said, where we got a bunch of executives who don't even know that Krypton is gone. So how can we
in the same movie?
How can we expect these executives to understand the significance of Thomas and Martha Wayne coming back in Flashpoint? It's just,
you actually bring up a good point that I kind of want to expand on, Zod, because Jeff Johns, he wrote the Flashpoint comics.
Exactly.
So why the hell would he not look at Zack and be like, dude, you're pulling from my stuff. This is fantastic.
Right. If anything, Jeff Johns should be Zack Snyder's biggest fan.
Exactly.
It's like looking at it. It's like, I don't know.
But he cannot.
I think it comes to this. Like, really, I think it comes to two things, really. One is just straight up, he's jealous. And two, he wanted to be the first one to do that in film. Like, I think Jeff Johns really is one of those people who always wants to be the first one to do this, the first one to do that. Because this is really something you should think about, because let's actually pull this out of the closet. When Jeff Johns told Zack, hey, you can't do the black suit, you can't do that. Then in the Supergirl show, you have a Superman in the black suit. And with that, the first live action Superman in the black suit is on TV. So to me, I think really it's Jeff Johns always wants to be the first one to do this, and the first one to do that.
In effect, though, Jeffrey, guys, Jeff Johns was first. Jeff Johns came up with the story.
Yeah,
the idea of Martha becoming the Joker, and Thomas Wayne becoming Batman. He did it in this way to give, and it gives filmmakers the inspiration and the ability to do it on screen, like what Jeff did. So when they're adapting from stories that you came up with, you in effect did do it first. It's kind of like Jeff already achieved that. So I don't know. I'm kind of like I don't get it, because Jeff Johns is a comic book writer. He's not a filmmaker.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense that he would have that kind of professional jealousy towards Zack when he is the GOAT in his medium. He's the one that writes all these stories.
Alessandro, you were going to say something. Go ahead, bud.
He wrote, there's a little detail that Sol says, it's true. Jeff did the story, the overall main time, that he created that idea. However, Brian Azzarello developed it. He's the one that actually wrote the comics where he develops the idea of the Joker, Martha Wayne. He's the one who practically is like Jeff Johns have good ideas, but he doesn't execute them that well sometimes. He sometimes doesn't. He doesn't care sometimes. Or in this case, it was Azzarello who we should thank, because he's the guy who actually later develops those ideas better. In my opinion, maybe it was a teamwork. But about Martha, what the hell was I going to say? Crap. Oh fuck! I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Okay.
Well, if you do remember it, just
Yeah, and I interrupted Salt for that.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Okay.
I mean, how about you, Corey? Like, what do you think? You're a big. I know you're a huge Jeffrey Dean Morgan fan because you love Negan, but do you feel like this was a complete missed opportunity? I mean, technically, it still could happen if they wise up, but what's your thoughts on it?
Man, I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He would have been an amazing Thomas Wayne. Martha as Joker, we've never seen that before. It would have been a mind blower for fans who didn't know that Martha becomes Joker and Thomas Wayne becomes, Batman, and with that alternate, storylines arc. So it would have been absolutely amazing. It constantly reminds me. I guess I was thinking about it. This gives me the same feeling of when the Bulls broke up back then. Freaking Jerry. Freaking Warner Brothers now. It's just constantly eating away at me.
So basically, Corey, your reaction is,
Oh, damn the devil! Damn the devil to hell! Oh, shoot!
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, and really, like, to me, when it comes to this whole Snyder's thing, like, to me, it's really kind of like with Ivar's beginning, with Ivar's speech. If you haven't seen the Viking show, which I highly recommend, but if you watch the Viking show, it has this character Ivar the Boneless speaking in his native tongue, basically saying, "You cannot kill me. I will live forever," pretty much. And that's really where I stand on the Snyderverse and fighting for. Like, I'll be the last one standing if it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's sorry. Who was gonna say? Did I interrupt someone? I'm sorry.
No, I just imagine Jeffrey like maybe 30 or 40 years later, like telling to his nephews, like to his grandsons, like, and we in the year of 2025, we developed restored the Snyderverse. Oh, it was glorious.
That will probably be our case. We'll do the whole Titanic scene. It's been 84 years. Tell us the story about the Snyderverse. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like Flashpoint is like one of my favorite comics. The Flashpoint Paradox movie that I think Jay Oliva even did. He kind of started off the New 52 run of the movie, the amazing animated movie series, and like, to me, it's just like, damn it, like, one of the best scenes that to me it was like, if we would have gotten this in live action movie theater of Thomas Wayne handing Barry the letter to give to Bruce, and we would have saw that scene with Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Man, that
really would have been a dream come true.
Yeah,
it's true.
And it's so, I mean, like, oh god, looking at this concept art, not concept art, but fan art.
That is awesome.
No, okay.
Awesome.
I just remember there's an idea because, this is what I already said in another podcast, maybe with Seal. I don't think so. Maybe Salt remembers that, maybe not. But this is when I mentioned why maybe it still wouldn't have worked in the DCU unless something else happens. Because this was my explanation of why, sadly, the Flashpoint story with Thomas Wayne as Batman wouldn't work for the DCU, and it's because Flash goes like when he was a young man, like when he was 10 years old. And the problem is that in the DCEU, Barry Allen in the comics, he's almost the same age as Bruce. Almost. Of course, Bruce is a bit older, but when he goes back, when Barry's at the time when his mother dies, Barry's like 8 or 9. At that same time, Bruce is also like 10 or 9 too.
Yeah.
And at the same time is when or maybe that same year is when also Kal-El is arriving to Earth. So that's why he that's why he affects those those events. It's because he's arriving near that time, at least around maybe in those months or in that same year or around those years, and that's why it affects it ends affect as Zoom says. So Reverse Flash says it's a time boom. It started affecting everything near that time. However, with Barry going back in the DC, if Barry from the DCEU, Ezra Miller's Flash, went back to when he was a child, like maybe when he was 10, he would be only going back like what, 15 years or 10 years back, and Batfleck was already working for almost 20 years, so he wouldn't affect the events on Batfleck's lives. He won't affect him. He at best would affect maybe when he was starting becoming to be Batman, and maybe he would affect a bit of Kal-El, maybe one but even then, Clark was already grown up 10 years ago.
I can see where you're getting at, and you bring up actually a very good point.
However, unless maybe that's the unless, maybe you could create the idea that Barry maybe tries to go when her mother dies at that time, like just 10 years ago, and it's going back like 30 or 40 years ago, or something like that, and that's when he starts screwing out everything. Maybe that's
like he did save his mom, but then after that, when he
goes
tried
further
to go
back.
so wait,
Exactly.
so in a way, so from what you're telling, you're saying like he could have saved his mom, and then
go further back.
When he tried to go forward in time, he accidentally went back. He accidentally went more backward in time,
and it's screwing everything finally, because then it wouldn't actually. It would affect things, of course, but not much. Maybe it would totally affect them if he went back. I love the idea. By the way, this is another. No, I will keep that for later. But yeah, it's just
Alejandro. I have to ask you, man, is that piece of artwork behind you from Wicked City? From the anime Wicked City?
No, actually, it's from. Do you guys remember there was a Wolverine?
Yeah, I remember. I know what that is. That's the anime. That's the Wolverine anime. Right there.
Exactly. But this is from the first trailer, because at the end, I didn't like that the final product, the actual Wolverine anime, had a different style. But I love this.
Great.
The style
fantastic.
I totally spaced about that.
This was the style of the trailer. It was more like mythic.
It actually looks like something out of. It does. It looked like something out of either Wicked City or Demon City Shinjuku. Looks really awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
Wait, Wicked. Okay. Is that an anime or a series?
Yes, an anime.
Wicked City. I will add to my list.
Add Wicked City and Demon City Shinjuku to your list. Add them both.
I like it. Well, guys, we are at the top of the hour again. So just another quick shout out. Thank you to everyone who has donated so far to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in the super chat. I think, Corey, we are like approaching $150, aren't we?
Yeah, we're 135 now. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Like seriously, this has been amazing. Thank you guys so much. But if you feel inclined, please through the super chat, put in whatever you feel like giving. We're going to give it all to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in honor of Autumn Snyder and for Zack Snyder to his tribute fund for Autumn. We can't thank you guys enough. This is the Bat Channel with the Regime panel with Zack, Alessandro, and Jeffrey. I dig it. That's cool. Whoever came up with that, I'm gonna have to give you some mad cred.
Oh, it was the Snyder cut fund.
That the release the Snyder Cut guy.
And he did the question of I will remind you because maybe Trey
I do recall that. Yep, we're coming up on it. So we'll Corey, don't let me forget on that question too. But yeah, I think you guys bring up some good points of the Flashpoint Batman, and I mean, me personally, I don't really care. I just want that scene. I just want the letter scene.
Yeah,
so however they wanted to explain it, just do it. You know, like I'm still in hope that maybe it's a secret that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is the secret cast member on that, but I don't think they would do 3 Batmans. That would be obnoxious.
That would be maybe. It's already Batman.
This is WB we're talking about, so
good point. But sorry, what were you saying, Jeffrey?
See.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into the big news today. This literally just broke today. And to me, it's one of the dumbest things I mean, it's not dumb because this is the right thing. Yes. To me, this was the right way to go. But the dumb thing is that Warner Brothers is doing 2 Black Supermans. One is Clark Kent, which is just why when you have the comic book accurate, Michael B. Jordan is developing his own Val Zod Superman from Earth 2 HBO Max series. Guys, what's your thoughts?
I'll tell you this right now. I think this actually has to do with Kim Masters' tweet, where she actually tweeted out a reminder that that Jeff Johns didn't want Clark's grandfather to be black. And really, like, I can tell you right now that people are going off saying like, oh, why are they doing 2 at this time? Like, really, to me, I really think that this really does confirm, like, before there were a few like rumors going on that people were saying about that initial Superman, initial Black Superman movie that was coming up. People were saying, "Oh, it's not Kal-El. It's a different Kal-El. It's like Kal-El spelled differently." I forgot how
it's
they
like
went
Calvin
with it.
Ellis, something like that.
Yeah, they went with Calvin Ellis, and really, I was like, no, that doesn't make sense, because if that were the case, then Michael B. Jordan would have signed on for that. But I think the fact that Michael B. Jordan is doing his own Superman project is actually proof that initial Black Superman announcement was talking about Kal-El Clark Kent Superman.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Alessandro? What's your thoughts on Michael B. Jordan doing his own separate Valzod Superman series?
I think it's good. If his Valzod was from Earth 2, right?
Yes.
It was from that world where the Trinity dies, and I wish I would. It's a post-apocalyptic Earth. Also, I wish I could see it. But it's weird because why only Collider reported it? Because I'm like, maybe it's only talks. Maybe Michael B. Jordan is only in talks, or because he's working on it, but it's not like an announced project still. But I like it. I like the idea. I wish that could work better, because the idea is that Val Zod was a character that relied on the whole world and how he provides for that world. The story is not about race segregation. So, but okay. I'm still interested in both projects, because we all know that we'll have to see the other project, the Black Clark Kent version of that is going to be placed in the 30s or the 40s. I think
I heard something like going to be
it's supposed to be in the segregation times, like in the 1940s or something. Which I'm telling you right now, if I were to choose which Superman project to watch, I'm definitely watching Michael B. Jordan's the one with Val Zod.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Zod Rider? What do you think, bro?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I had an idea a long time ago for a Superman throwback Superman movie that actually took place in the Great Depression era, back when the Superman comics were first created. I always thought that would be a good idea to address that Superman way back then, and I always wondered why they didn't bother to do like a period piece Superman if they have to keep going back to the well and they want to keep changing Supermans every few years. Then you might as well tell that story. But I have to agree with Jeffrey when it comes to, if I got to choose, I'm definitely going to watch the Michael B. Jordan Val Zod, because it sounds like Michael B. Jordan gets it. And I agree. He rejected WB because he thinks their idea of doing a black Clark Kent is the stupidest thing that they could do. He realizes that, so now he's got his own project. I love it. I think that's the greatest thing. You know,
and,
I mean,
oh man,
you're absolutely right. I agree with all of you guys, because I think, to me, what the issue is like, when you think about it, so they have the theatrical, Black Superman with J.J. Abrams. They're going to get a director for that, and then they have, according to Sil and Mikey's son, Henry Cavill is still Superman. They want to do a Man of Steel 2 with him. That news kind of just broke today, and then you have Michael B. Jordan, who's playing Val Zod, which was the version of the character we wanted to see in the first place if they were going to do a Black Superman. I think this is going to overshadow J.J. Abrams' movie, which, how terrible is that? An HBO Max series is going to overshadow a movie, a theatrical.
Well, J.J. Abrams has nobody to blame for himself for doing something that's stupid. J.J. Abrams deserves to get his comeuppance for all the bad mistakes he keeps making with these movies. I don't know why this man keeps getting hired, let alone for all the projects that he starts and can't finish. Terrible. He's a terrible, terrible filmmaker. It's like he's got some good ideas, right? His ideas need to be molded. He needs to get behind a group of people that can actually write a good story, and then he can direct. But the reality is, man, he comes up with some bad ideas, and I gotta say, a black Clark Kent would be the worst possible thing you could do when you have two Supermen that are canon in DC Comics who are black. It makes no sense.
Wait. It makes sense only if you want the social commentary.
Oh, hold on a second, Jeffrey. Let Alessandro finish here, and then we'll go to you next, bud.
It makes sense only if you want the social and political commentary, because that's how you made it. Because
J.J. Abrams wants Wakanda Man. Let's just be honest.
And Jeffrey, how about you, buddy?
Oh my God. No.
But yeah, like, really, to me, like, with J.J. Abrams, like, really, I think the only good project that he's done, in my eyes, is Lost. Like, really, I think that's the only good project that I've seen of him. And I haven't seen the Star Trek trilogy that he's done, because I'm not a Star Trek guy.
Oh, good Lord.
But really the only time I'll throw him a bone is the Star Wars sequel trilogy, because for some reason he didn't do the second one. So for me, he's still kind of like, so for me, like, J.J. Abrams, when it comes to TV, he's good at that. But for movies, it's just, he's not good in my eyes.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think the first two Star Treks I actually kind of liked. The third one, I felt they just dropped the ball. But
I absolutely hated that second one. My God!
Oh, really?
That second one is what ruined it all for me, because when I've been a lifelong Star Trek fan my whole life.
Yeah.
And when I saw that second film and that stuff that he did with Benedict Cumberbatch and that mystery box con crap, I was done. I was done with JJ at that point. I'm like, you know what? No one nerd should have this much power in the sci-fi world. You should not be able to screw with Star Wars, Star Trek, and now be coming over to DC? Are they nuts? This is exactly the kind of thing. This is exactly the kind of thing that Warner Brothers, they keep failing, and it doesn't matter. It's like their failure is their thing. Failure should be their logo, like a big L for DC. It should just be, because that's all they keep doing. I don't understand. Like, I just don't understand how anybody can hire that guy. And the amount of money that J.J. Abrams got. Oh my God.
Oh God. Yeah. The deal they signed to was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Because really, like, to me, it's really like, for me, like, with the whole J.J. Abrams mystery box thing, it's like, I get it, but it needs to make sense. Like,
exactly.
I like a good mystery. I like a good mysteries and stuff like that, but they need to make sense. Like, you just can't say like, oh, like, to me, it's like he's trying to be like a white version of M. Night Shyamalan, but he's failing at it.
J.J. Abrams is like that guy that he's like the new kid in town that everybody likes, and he keeps doing all these things to make people like him more and more, but then starts doing some really, really shady things, and then people start to realize it, and he just moves on to the next town. It starts all over again.
Well, I mean, it's just like with The Last Jedi. I mean, The Force Awakens, in my opinion, I did not like Force Awakens because it was basically a redo of what George Lucas has already done. And then for him to just be like, okay, bye, and left them without a plan. And so the other director was like, Rian Johnson, I think he was like, I'm going to do this thing. And everyone absolutely is like, how dare you do that to Luke Skywalker? And then he comes back and he's like, I have to fix this mistake, but I'm not going to explain how we're fixing it. I'm just going to do it in the opening credits.
There was a whole outline for this trilogy that JJ was planning, but like, apparently when Rian Johnson came in, he essentially threw out whatever the outline was supposed to be for the second movie, and just started to do his own thing because he wanted to subvert everybody's expectations. So J.J. Abrams, I kind of gave him a pass with Force Awakens because I realized the kind of pressure you're under when you're bringing back a Star Wars franchise that has kind of been dormant for a while. But at the same time, once you do that, you've got to be able to follow it up. And if you can't follow it up with anything but Luke Skywalker throwing a lightsaber and totally denouncing everything about his character's past, it makes no sense. And you're not going to have everybody on board, because now you're just throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks. And that's honestly what Last Jedi felt like for me. Like Last Jedi felt like a disjointed mess. Like they didn't know what they really wanted to do. They didn't have a story. And so they just decided to just keep throwing like a series of scenes together, patching it together, and calling it a movie. That's what it looked like to me.
And really, like, that's where, and really, like, for me, like, I'll be honest, the only reason why I watched the Rise of Skywalker wasn't really out of obligation or anything. I just wanted to see more of Adam Driver, because let's be real, if we're talking about people carrying the trilogy, it was Adam Driver. Like, he really was the only one that was carrying that entire trilogy.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's just like Daisy Ridley, I think her name is, who plays Rey. I mean, the fact that they just made her all powerful, she took no time for training. She's just like, yes, I can pick up like 20 rocks with my mind already, and you suck, Luke. Like, does she even need Luke for training? Like, this is ridiculous.
Like that's the thing. Like, not even carrying the rocks thing. Like her using a Jedi, like her first Force trick was literally the most advanced. Was really the advanced Jedi mind trick.
Yeah.
Like, how can you?
Can somebody explain to me the whole thing between Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver, where they were literally like like force Skyping each other throughout like can somebody explain to me how that worked, because I that was just that
basically
was ridiculous.
What was his name?
There was one scene where he had his shirt off and he was in bed and he was like oh yeah, on. Daisy, I'm thinking about you. Come join me. Yeah, that wasn't creepy, Adam.
Right?
I'll be watching you.
No, great. Yeah, I mean, Star Wars, especially the new trilogy, was just a mess. I mean, it's
really, like for me, if you're really talking about really the most consistent character in the sequel trilogy, aside from Rey, like the only good character I would say was Kylo Ren, because to me it's like he was really the only. It's really like Adam Driver was really taking this role seriously, and this is really no diss at any of the other actors. I'm really sure they tried their hardest, but to me it's like with Adam Driver, he was really trying to be very passionate, and he was actually very passionate about the role, and you really felt what he was trying to do. But with the direction that was going on, it was like he was Justice League. It's like he was Justice League Cyborg, where it's like there is something there, but you just can't tell.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny that you guys say that, because I remember thinking that, I think, Corey, were you and I in theaters sitting together when we were watching that?
Yeah.
It was literally the first film where I looked at my brother and I looked at him and was like, I think I'm going to get up and leave, because I hated it that much.
Oh my God, yeah. Because
it destroyed
the
characters you love.
Oh God. I had the same feeling. I was with my father and nephew, and I was just like, man, I was like, I looked at him, I'm like, we need to get the F out of here. And it was just horrible. I was like, and it's like when you think about it now, people say all the time, oh, Disney's not trying to course correct with their stuff on Disney Plus, and I'm like, the hell they're not. The stuff on, if you look at the stuff on Disney Plus and compare it to this new trilogy, it's like night and day. The stuff on Disney Plus is actually trying to make Star Wars look good, man, and the stuff the new trilogy was all over the place.
Yeah, like to me, like really, for me, I was only watching like Star Wars Rebels. For me, was really what got me back into Star Wars when it came, like after the fallout with The Last Jedi. Like after the fallout with The Last Jedi, I was like, okay, after Star Wars Rebels is done, then I'm done with Star Wars. But then you go into future timeline, then you go to the future with the Disney Plus. Oh, we're bringing back his Star Wars, the Clone Wars. They're gonna finish it. Then we're going to do the Mandalorian, which I still haven't seen. But then we're gonna do Ahsoka. Like you can really tell, like, you know what, the movies, we're not doing anything, but it's like I don't know if this is actually going on, but it really does seem like there's a civil war going on at Lucasfilm between Kathleen Kennedy and Dave. Like it really does feel like there's a civil war. It really does feel like there's a civil war going on Lucasfilm right now.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's kind of like it's like with Warner Brothers, you're kind of seeing them going down the same road where like the sequel trilogy, they lost their way, they lost their plan, they lost their vision because they weren't communicating. The directors weren't saying this is where this needs to go, so this makes sense by the time we get to the third movie. And it was like after Zack was fired in a way, they lost their path. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna do solo films that don't connect, and hey, multiverse, but not Snyderverse. That doesn't count.
Which is a really business way of saying we're just gonna throw darts at the board and see what hits.
Yeah,
because that's really what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys are just nailing on the head. This is so funny. We're just like, it's amazing how we're just like intertwining. Like we go from Michael B. Jordan, J.J. Abrams, Star Wars, you know,
Back to the Future, Jaws.
Jesus, Corey.
The only thing you haven't done is Marvel. That's the fun part.
Yeah, oh man, we don't even talk about Captain Marvel, but you know, I mean, hey, Disney, it's one of those things about Kevin Feige, man. Like, even though I'm not a huge fan of the MCU films, I gotta give them credit. Like, they have a plan, you know, and it's working out for them because, like you said, there could be a movie that's complete utter shit, like Captain Marvel. And even like you could say Black Widow. I didn't think Black Widow was fantastic.
Oh, I hated that movie, man.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, to me, it wasn't like terrible, but it was just, it serves no purpose.
Really, I'll give you a scoop right now about Black Widow. Well, sort of a scoop. Like, not a lot of people know about this, but the director of the Black Widow movie actually said that she was only there to film the principal photography, and she wasn't there for the post-production at all. So basically she was only there for the principal photography and nothing else. So Kevin Feige was involved with all of the post-production stuff.
Interesting. I didn't realize Kevin Feige was.
I'm not surprised.
But then again, James Gunn recently said about Suicide Squad when he was like, I was in the editing room and DC never showed up. He's like, I got to do whatever the hell I want. And he directly referred to at Disney, someone's on you 24/7, making sure you're editing the film the way they want you to. So, I mean, there is one thing. Kevin Feige is a bit of a control freak, but at the same time, you're being forced to watch every single thing that the MCU has to offer because it all interconnects, you know, rather than DC. They're like, they just gave up on, you know, doing a connected universe. So now it's like a solo Batgirl film, 3 different Superman, and Batman, maybe a Batfleck movie eventually, but we're also going to have Michael Keaton's Batman. So, and eventually a Batman Beyond. So they're just going into so many things that are technically by themselves and have no connection to each other.
And really, that's the thing about the MCU multiverse with Loki. Like, if you haven't seen Loki, I really do highly recommend it because it really is the most important Marvel MCU thing you should watch. But even with how Loki started the MCU, it pretty much goes like there will be I'm not going to spoil anything because you guys really need to watch it. But
it's really good, actually.
But it really goes pretty much like this is where we're going, and you're in for a bumpy ride. Like, that's where it pretty much goes without spoiling anything.
Well, I mean, they really took their time to explain the multiverse, you know, with, you know, I mean, they kind of teased it in a few of the films before, and then with WandaVision, and then it got into Loki, and I won't spoil anything for anybody, but I think the fact that they took their time to explain the multiverse, the general audience is going to understand what's going on more now, rather than DC. Flashpoint in Zack's universe wasn't supposed to happen until the end. So there was supposed to be a Flash film before Flashpoint. Now here we are, and it's just already bam, here we go. It's gonna be a multiverse of explosion. Films don't have to connect, so people are gonna get confused of where the hell they're at. They're gonna go see the Batman film and be like, oh cool, a Batgirl movie coming out on HBO Max, and they're gonna be like, what the hell is this? Like, where's Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon? You know, right. People are going to get so confused because there is no explanation. It's basically, this is its own thing, but enjoy.
Why is Clark Kent black now?
Kind of like it's kind of like Disney World except with no direction.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I was going to say just that both are equally coercing a lot of interference in their directors. They're always interfering with their visions. It's not news. It's Disney, and even I would say Disney is more control freaks than Warner. That at that level, the only difference and the only reason why Marvel had the quality enough to keep going so much years is because they had Feige, and Feige is a producer again that does know storytelling. He knows about numbers, but he had the overall story, and he knows how to control everyone like his puppets to fit everyone in the story that he wants. That's how you made a good, not good quality, but something that works. And Warner. The only thing that Warner could have been 10 times better if they only had just that, a plan. As you said, they just needed a plan. Oh, by the way, guys, I think I'm going to be out in like a couple of minutes.
Oh, okay.
But, but before I go, I did this. So I don't know. Enjoy.
Corey, can you put Alessandro full screen, please?
Yep. Let me bring him up.
Okay.
Holy hell,
that's
dude.
awesome.
Oh, man.
Bro. That's awesome.
That's badass.
That's so cool.
Holy shit. I literally got chills just looking at hashtag the regime. Dude, that's so dope.
Awesome.
That's
Holy
cool.
hell. My man, I am seriously honored by that. That's so cool. God, man. I wish I had.
When people have
artistic
memorable faces, so it's quick. It's nice to do it.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
That is dope.
You're gonna have to send me a picture of that so I can.
Oh yes,
put
I
that
will.
up.
No problem, man.
Oh, dude, that is so cool.
Happy
Well,
1 year. So that's why.
thank you. Seriously, we really do appreciate Alessandro. I'm really happy you were able to join us today, and obviously, man, I'm happy to support you. Do you have a YouTube channel, Alessandro?
I have one. It's called MaskofShy.
MaskofShy.
I will change my name to maybe so people can find it.
I will also find it after the show is done, so I can put it in the description so people can check you out and subscribe to your channel. Because seriously, dude, I'm so happy to have you here, and you always just jump in and have an interesting perspective on things. And I love that you're willing to play devil's advocate and kind of throw in the other side, because I'm the same exact way. I like to look at from both angles and kind of find my own conclusion within the middle. And I appreciate that a lot about you. So thank you so much for coming on.
No problem, man. And thank you, Zod Writer. It was awesome always talking to you, and Jeffrey.
Always fun talking to you, man. You're great.
Yes. And Jeffrey, you too. You're crazy, but it's always awesome because but his ideas are sweet. Jeffrey's ideas I love because they're always very sweet. That's props to you. And your scoops are weird as heck because it's like I didn't knew about. I mean, that information about the Black Widow film. I didn't know that, but that's very on point. Very on point.
But yeah, like it was good talking to you, man, and good luck on the motion comic that you're doing. And hope you don't
Alessandro,
get
you're a part of it now. You're doing it now.
Not for now. I'm talking to people that is around there. Not because but they are asking me if I have enough time to do it. I'm looking for the time. At this time, I'm working because I have clients in my country because I'm like, I need money. I need money. So yeah. I'm working on something else, but I'm having more time to work on now DC stuff. And I'm finally planning a new drawing. But I have a couple of ideas because I usually do speed drawing videos.
Okay.
The last one was about this. I think I already showed it.
That's crazy.
That's in one of my videos actually.
I'll have to check that out.
I show the process.
Wow.
Where can people purchase your art, Alessandro?
I actually don't sell it. Wait, I sell it, but it's on Teespring. But only is in. Can I share the link? Or
yeah, absolutely. If you want to send us the link and
share it.
Right?
Absolutely, Drew.
Here it is. Wait, yes. Okay. I will share it here in the StreamYard, so you can share it. There you go.
Sweet. Corey, are you able to pull that up?
I don't see it up yet.
Oh, it's in the private
should
chat.
be on
Oh, is
your-
it private
it should
chat?
be in
Okay.
the-
Yes, in the private
Yeah,
chat.
the private chat.
Yep. Give me one
Corey's
second.
far more tech savvy than I am. That's really cool. Are people allowed to reach out to you, Alessandro, to maybe
Yes,
do
you
like
can.
customized art?
Oh yes, you can. I will again change my name because what the heck? Ale Candioti is how you can find me on Instagram and MaskofShy on YouTube, because my name is Alessandro Candioti, but that's too long, so I just reduced it to Ale Candioti, and that's how that's my signing. So you can find me as Ale Candioti in Instagram, but you can also find me in YouTube as MaskofShy. But you can do it either way. You can choose any way to find me. Either way, I'm not here. I'm not the star of the show. It's these two guys. But thank you guys for sharing my stuff.
Absolutely, dude.
Yes,
that is cool. I saw that Deathstroke one. I was like,
yeah,
man.
man.
That's hot.
Oh, the Deathstroke one. That also has his video.
Oh, really?
Yes, actually, the Cyborg one has video, and there's the banner above. There's a banner above.
Banner? Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that also has his video too in my YouTube channel.
Cool. My man. That is dope. Alessandro, man, it is always a blast to see your artwork, man. I always appreciate when you just throw up something quick with on Sill's channel, and it's like, man, I need to start practicing.
No, it's not just because I want to promote myself, even though it's like the selfish in me saying, "Oh my God, yes, share it because people will like it." But I do enjoy that you like it, because I love to make people smile. I mean, I'm a bit bro. I'm a bit like the Joker, damn it! Like smile, people. But I do enjoy it. I like to make people know that they can also do it, because I'm teaching all others to draw by themselves, and
oh wow,
that's important for me, that to share that's important. Share it. You cannot just keep it for yourself.
One of my favorite art pieces that you've ever done, and I know you've talked about it a few times, was the Us United shirt, where you drew like all the some major faces in the community, and you even did people who are like who have beef against each other. But it's important to see this, because even though sometimes we fall short and we kind of get to a toxic point every now and then, I like to look at this, because I told this to Sill behind the scenes, where I was like, I'm pretty innocent when it comes to this community. Like, I believe in hashtag Us United, or at least I wanted to believe it. And I know I see moments when it's not true, and that sometimes we let it get the better of us, of the toxicity. But this, to me, this is beautiful, because I think we can get back to this if we find our way again, if we support American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, if we come together to fight for restoring the Snyderverse, releasing the air cut. But more importantly, the charity work that we've done, I think, was a huge portion. I think when we got the Snyder cut, people kind of lost what made us great. So that shirt of Us United, I've always really loved that one. That's so cool.
The idea is always renouncing to just ego. It's just renounce to that and just say, "Hey."
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm ordering that shirt right now, Alessandro.
Wait,
the Blind Man one?
The Us United shirt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a cool one. I love it so much. I think it's one of the best stuff. So many, and it's cool too, because it actually looks like the people. Like, you got the Nernquaidens in there, and Enosh,
Oh yeah, that's
Nicotina.
That's something sweet.
I'm trying to remember, is Sill in there too?
Yeah.
Oh yes, it is. Sill is around. Yes.
Oh, there he is. Yep.
Oh yeah, there he is.
That's so cool, dude. Oh man, brilliant stuff.
Jeffrey was missing. Damn it.
Oh, Jeffrey
was missing. Sorry.
Well, sometime you'll just have to make a version 2.0, to get some of the new faces in there. It's still really, really cool, bro. I really appreciate it, and I'm always happy to support creativity and art pieces. So don't feel weird at all about wanting to share your stuff. I'm happy to show this kind of stuff, because this is what it's about, is celebrating our channel, your channel, everything you guys have.
Feel weird about it because it's just weird, just that.
It is. It's just part of the humility and the humbleness, which makes you all the more awesome, bro.
Yeah. Okay. No, don't call me awesome. Okay, that's it. I have my limits.
Check that one out. Wow, man. I love that. I love that
That's
shirt, too.
awesome.
That's cool.
You got the forearm on there too. Wow.
Wow. That's
Loving
cool
Heart,
stuff.
Stone Fist.
I'll
Wow.
definitely put that in our description after the show ends, so that way people can check it out if they weren't able to attend our live show. But Alessandro, seriously, bud, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll definitely have to have you on again.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. It was always a blast because I liked, also because I practice English with you all, and I always like to meet more people, and this seems like always a nice place to talk with more people. So yeah, that's it. I'm out, guys, and
Awesome.
take care, and goodbye. Have a good night year.
Yep, you too, bud.
Yeah,
wow, man, that's some cool stuff. That's some great artwork. Definitely we'll have his stuff in the description so you guys can check that out, and I'll do the same for you, Zod, and for you, Jeffrey. I wasn't sure who was going to show up today, so I didn't have it in place before, but I'll definitely I always take care of my people who show me us support, so I can show them support as well, because I always appreciate that you guys are here with us. But so final statements on Michael B. Jordan's Superman. Do you guys feel like this is the better route to go, that this is going to overshadow J.J. Abrams' Superman? And honestly, do you think because of this, and so far the general audience has been like, yes, this is what we want, not J.J. Abrams, do you think they're going to drop that project?
Yep.
Well, we'll have to wait and see about dropping it, but in terms of like overshadowing J.J. Abrams' project, I would say that it definitely already has.
Yeah, agreed. Because when
I honestly, because when I first actually read the news, when I caught the news about this, I legit forgot about J.J. Abrams' Superman. I legit forgot about J.J. Abrams' Superman project for a few minutes. I was like, oh wow, we're going to get a Valzod Superman, yeah. And then I was like, oh wait, but isn't J.J. Abrams doing his Black Superman?
Yeah.
like to me, I legit forgot about J.J. Abrams' Superman project already.
I think a lot of us did. It's part of it because we don't want to believe it's actually happening, and then you hear this and you're like, yes, this is what it should have been. Like, come on, guys. The fact that Michael B. Jordan was the one that had to tell Warner Brothers in the Collider interview, he actually like says is like, yeah, I'm not down for the Black Clark Kent. That's going to be bigger issues than you want. Like, there are actually comic book characters that are Black Superman that you can pull from. You don't have to race swap Clark Kent. And it's like the fact that Michael B. Jordan had to say that just tells you how out of touch Warner Brothers is. They're just they have no idea what they're doing anymore, which brings us to our next thing. So as we look at the future DC film slate, Corey, can you go ahead and pull up that slide? This has always been, as you guys know, a very difficult topic for anyone really, because we're DC fans. We love the comics, we love the characters, but unfortunately the studios' toxicity and the way they have treated those people in the past have really hurt the future of any of the film slate. So I kind of have to just ask you, like, are you guys excited for anything in the future of the DC film slate? Because like Suicide Squad is next, and I don't see the same excitement for it.
Well, I'll tell you this, what I'm excited for. I'm really excited for only 3 things on there, and that's Black Adam, Matt Reeves' Batman, and Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Like, that's really much. That's pretty much it of what I'm excited for in this slate.
Okay. Is there one that like hits at you more that you're like, yes, this one I absolutely have to see? And is there one like this is complete trash?
Yes, Black Adam. I really do think that that Black Adam is really gonna kill it, in the box office, because really I just think that with how much of a delay this has been, because a lot of people don't actually tend to remember this, but Black Adam has been in production since 2008, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And now to realize that we're finally getting that Black Adam movie, I'm really excited for Black Adam.
And Dwayne Johnson was rumored to be a part of the Black Adam project since that 2008 like rumor. Everyone had always said like, oh, it needs to be Dwayne Johnson, needs to be Dwayne Johnson.
It took him some time to get buffed up for it.
to do some buffing up.
He was still Rocky Maivia back when he was cast as in fact he's been cast as Black Adam so long. WWE was actually still called WWF at the time.
Yeah,
that's how long this has been going on. So
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's it's all part of that. So you guys think Black Adam is going to take over the DC hierarchy?
I think
really,
Black Adam is the only thing worth anything on that list of films that they have. I am not interested in one thing other than that Black Adam movie. That's the only thing I care about. Everything else I have no interest in, and I think it's actually counterproductive for us that are rooting for the Snyderverse to support any of those films. I don't really, and I think the only reason why we should be supporting Black Adam is because we know that The Rock is a fan of the Snyderverse. We know The Rock and Henry Cavill have the same agent. So we know that The Rock is going to push for Superman because he likes Henry Cavill as Superman, because that affects his bottom line. So the reality is I think Black Adam is where it's at for those of us that want the Snyderverse.
Yep. And really, like, that's really the thing too. Like, he said that he wants Superman to fight Black Adam, which, let's be honest, who doesn't want to see that? Like, who doesn't want to see Superman versus Black Adam in the big screen?
Yeah, James Gunn believes Bloodsport. I know it's from the comics, but he believes Bloodsport should just take out Superman with no warning to the audience.
Yeah, but the problem is, Trey, he's going to do it in a messed up way.
Exactly.
He's going to do it in James Gunn's sadistic style of humor. He's going to do it in James Gunn's satirical way of doing things. He's not going to do it where it's going to be like a comic book accurate depiction. People that are saying that are absolutely bonkers, and I love it. I got criticized on one of those streams I did today. They're like, oh well, now I know you're not, because you say all this stuff about James Gunn. Now I know you're not a DC fan. You're just a Snyder fan. I said, no, I'm a DC fan, but I'm a DC fan that likes quality and wants to see filmmakers who actually respect the DC characters. And James Gunn is not coming in from Marvel to respect DC. And I don't think a lot of people realize that this movie is essentially going to be a parody making fun of DC with fart jokes, dick jokes, lots of sexual innuendo, and all kinds of crazy stuff that's going to feel out of place in a lot of these DC movies. But hey, people love what they love, I guess, Yeah.
Well, I mean, did you see that clip today of TDK, Nathan Fillion's character? Like,
no.
It's literally like a 40-second clip, and I just watched it, and I was like, good God. This just turned me off the film completely. To me, though, Zod, if anyone gives you more crud about, supporting, not supporting the DC film slate, you just need to be like this to them.
Is that what you think? That's exactly. It doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that, unfortunately, Warner Brothers has put us in this place, because it's ridiculous when you
They're
hear
all still there. The people that did this to Zack and David Ayer and the ones that have meddled in all these other films, they're all still there. They're in power. It's the same regime. So why would you support something that's coming from the same people who did your guy dirty? Some of these people in the Snyderverse movement are the same people that are saying, oh, there's still hope for the Snyderverse, but they're the ones that supported Wonder Woman 84. They're the ones that supported Birds of Prey. They're the ones that are telling everybody to support James Gunn's Suicide Squad. When are you guys these people gonna learn that supporting everything that DC puts out just because it's DC isn't going to get you the outcome you want? You have to start thinking from the perspective of, if you want quality stuff, you have to be willing to stand up for the quality that you like and stick to your guns. Don't get excited just because there's a new movie coming out thinking, oh, this is going to be, you automatically think it's going to be great. That's what I don't understand about people getting excited for James Gunn. It's James Gunn, of all people. You know he's a dirtbag. You know it. So why are you acting like he's going to somehow deliver you the Godfather of DC movies?
You know what's really... Sorry, go ahead, Jeffrey.
And that's really the thing, too. Like, a lot of people, like, I still remember this when back in 2017 when the Snyder Cut movement was getting started, like actually just a baby, where people were saying, oh, to get the Snyder Cut, you need to Justice League needs to be a success. Justice League was not a success, and that's what got us to the Snyder Cut. So it's kind of like, why don't, like, because it's kind of like this. Like, if you were to tell, like, let's say I give you a sandwich and it's like a mud pie, right? Are you going to eat that mud pie? No, you're not. You're going to throw that mud pie away, and then I'm gonna see your reaction and be like, okay, I'll give you a regular cheeseburger, and you'll eat that. Mm-hmm. So really, to me, it's like you need to throw away the trash that WB is giving you to give something delicious.
Every movie that's come out post since they got rid of Zack or Zack left, however you want to put it, has been either mediocre or terrible, and people just jump on the bandwagon for every single film. And that's why none of these executives are ever truly going to be held accountable. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. If this James Gunn movie is successful, if this Robert Pattinson Sparkles Batman movie is successful, if this Flash movie Saving the Babies is successful, well, what's going to happen is when this merger happens and Zaslav from Discovery sees that these movies are successful, Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, and whoever else is there from the old WB regime that is responsible for these other movies, they're going to keep their jobs. And if they keep their jobs, then that means all you're going to get is more mediocre movies. And because the fan base is so fickle and so unable to stick to their guns that they're actually defending and jumping on the bandwagon, defending movies that were made by these people who screwed over Zack and all these other filmmakers. It makes no sense to me. It's like you're defending the very people by supporting these movies. You're endorsing the very people that screwed Zack and David Ayer and all these other filmmakers over in the first place, and you wonder why you're not getting what you want. You wonder why the Ayer cut hasn't been released. You wonder why there's been nothing about the Snyderverse, because you're supporting these other movies, and these people know you're going to support these other movies. These execs know that if they can just convince you long enough to keep buying into the mediocrity, they're not going to lose their jobs. They're going to be safe. That's all they care about. They don't care about you. They care about keeping their jobs. They don't care about DC. They care about keeping their jobs. So as long as they can keep you distracted long enough, thinking being excited for the Suicide Squad, the Batman, the Flash, and Our Man, and whatever the hell else they come out with. You're going to be, that's what you're going to be. It's all smoke and mirrors to keep you distracted from the Snyderverse, because they hate Zack, they hate the Snyderverse, and they hate you. But you're too blinded to see it because it's another DC movie, and you keep saying you're DC fans first. So okay, then you can't complain when you don't get what you want, and you got to be content with mediocrity. You could be eating steak, but you're going to be eating cheap hamburger for the rest of your lives because you're allowing it. You're allowing them to feed that. And that's what the problem is. And nobody wants to admit it. Oh, Zod, you're just hating. You're not a DC fan. You're a Snyder fan. No, I'm a film fan and a DC fan, and I want quality DC films. I don't want mediocre garbage that's not going to be good and is not going to connect to anything.
Right. And before I go, because I'm about to go to bed, but before I go, really just think about this real quick. In the sense of imagine, because it's really where, because really they really do if that studio know that David Goyer was anything to go by, they really don't care about what the movie is like. They just want to keep their job. And really, if you want to go deeper than that, it's really in a sense where really they just want to make money they just want to make stuff to keep their jobs and stuff like that. And I'm telling you right now, I really was born into DC. I actually had a Superman bed for a little while and stuff like that. But for me, I really do want DC to be the best that it could be. And I'm not just saying that as a DC fan. I'm actually saying that as a fan in general. For the Star Wars, I was like, man, that sequel trilogy is bad. They're not doing too good. We really do deserve better. And with the Disney Plus, we're getting better with Dave Filoni giving us top quality Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus. We fans do need the best quality of said product. And that's really all that I go. And like I said, I'm about to go, but Trey, I got you on the script, on the little script details that I'll be sending you soon, because I think you're really gonna like some of the draft ideas that I have for that Kabuki project that I have.
Fantastic. Yeah, bro. I'm absolutely excited to see some of that stuff.
Yeah, and Trevor, shout out to you for that $50 super chat.
Yeah, thank you so much, Trevor. We really do appreciate it. So you say, just wanted to say a damn good stream, gents. Do you think the Snyderverse is still possible with Zack signing with Netflix for a first look deal? Before we answer that, Corey, give him the clip.
All right, here we go, baby.
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Trevor. That really does mean a lot, but going a long way.
Yeah,
sorry, what were we saying, Jeffrey?
And I'm about to go, so I'll answer this.
Cool.
I will say yes, because the Netflix deal is for 2 years, and in 2 years Discovery will be it yes, I do believe that the Snyderverse is still up for grabs because for the Netflix deal, it's going to last 2 years, and in 2 years, the Discovery Warner Brothers merger will be in full effect. So, in terms of your question, Trevor, yes, I do believe that there still is hope for the Snyderverse. So, with that out of the way, I'm about to head out. Peace.
See you later, Jeffrey. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
brother. See you, man.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah. So we'll let you answer then next, Zod.
Okay. Well, my perspective is a little bit different. I think that with this first look deal, a lot of people don't realize that Zack Snyder had a first look deal with Warner Brothers all this time.
Yeah.
All this time. And he spent his whole career up to this point after he did Dawn of the Dead, which I believe was for Universal. But once he got that deal with Warner Brothers, he's been at Warner Brothers ever since.
Yep.
And they've had access to all of his projects. So
Army of the Dead was supposed to be a Warner Brothers project.
Exactly. So keeping that in mind, Netflix is rolling out the red carpet for Zack Snyder. He is starting several independent franchises over at Netflix. I think Zack Snyder is going to basically live out the rest of his career on Netflix. And why wouldn't he? Because they're rolling out the red carpet for him. They're allowing him to do what he wants as a filmmaker. He doesn't have to deal with any of that BS over at Warner Brothers. Netflix just gives him the money and tells him, make what you want to make. So why would you want to ever go back to Warner Brothers and deal with that toxic baloney? My hope for the Snyderverse is this. I'm hoping at some point Netflix either leases the Snyderverse from Discovery Warner Brothers after the merger comes, or Zaslav sees what's going on and says, you know what, Netflix, you want DC? We'll sell you DC films. And that, to me, would be the best outcome for everybody involved. And I am hopeful and optimistic that that's something that Netflix could work out. Because Zaslav, what a lot of people don't know about this guy, is he has a reputation for purchasing and flipping. That's his thing. Purchase it, make it as profitable as possible, and then flip it for a much higher value. And
do you have an example of that, Zod, when he did that during Discovery days?
He's done that. He's done that a few times for a few different properties. I think one of them where it was the OWN thing with Oprah and a couple others. There were a few others that he did that he turned a profit. There's some. It's all out there. You can research it. But the point is that if he sees that it's profitable to sell a portion of DC or sell DC outright or lease the rights to Netflix to allow them to make Snyderverse content, like almost like treating Snyderverse like its own black label. I think that is the best hope we have for a Snyderverse continuing. Otherwise, when it comes to Zack going back to WB and working on those movies, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to take something like Netflix acquiring DC in some kind of capacity in order for that to happen. And I also don't think that that's far-fetched considering all the things that have happened. I think there's a very good chance, because from what I've been hearing too, it doesn't sound like DC. It doesn't sound like DC is, DC is exactly doing all that well, because if Warner Brothers was doing all that well as a whole with HBO Max and everything they're doing, why would they need to merge with some other company? Mm-hmm. What would be the reason to merge with Discovery if you're doing well and you're making money and you're turning a profit and you're achieving the financial goals you're supposed to be achieving? So for me, I just think that Zack is in his new home. This is where he's going to be. He's going to make tons of movies. He's going to be really successful. Army of the Dead, I think, is like the most watched Netflix movie of all time.
It's 8th place. Yeah, 8th and 9th. Yep.
So it's up there.
Yep.
And again, Warner Brothers won't even tell us what the numbers are for the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. That's how much they hate Zack Snyder. So I think unless they clean house, unless Zaslav comes in and completely gets rid of all these executives, Hamada, Emmerich, and all these people, unless they're all completely gone, I think the chances of Zack doing anything with Warner Brothers is like slim to nil. I think you got a better chance of, to quote The Dark Knight, winning the Powerball. Okay. I don't think you're gonna get that, and that's why I say I think Netflix is the best hope for everybody, including the Snyderverse. I think the Netflix is how the Snyderverse will happen if it happens, because if Netflix can keep working out these deals for DC properties, because let's remember they've got Sweet Tooth, they've got the Sandman, which is pretty huge actually.
Yep.
In fact, Sandman is DC's biggest vertical property.
Yep.
So
along with Lucifer and stuff like that.
Exactly. So if they can work out some kind of a deal for the Snyderverse, especially, and if you think about it, what would be a better negotiating tactic to get that, especially since now you have Zack Snyder working for Netflix. So the idea of being able to go to DC and go to Warner Brothers or go to Zaslav and Discovery and say, hey, look, if you guys aren't planning to do anything with the Snyderverse, do you mind if we took it over, leased it from you, and did something and allowed Zack to finish his story? He wants to do 2 more movies. Think it'd be all right if we could we work that out just so that Zack could finish what he started? I mean, that's where I think the logic comes in. I think that's where it's going to be possible. I think Netflix is going to push for that because here's a little tidbit too that a lot of people don't know. Zack Snyder, the Netflix went to Warner Brothers before they launched HBO Max. Netflix went to Warner Brothers and asked Warner Brothers if they could have the Snyder Cut. And
wow,
Netflix,
that's right.
And Netflix and Warner Brothers said no, basically because they were launching HBO Max and they were going to use HBO Max as a tool to prop up their other stuff. And then they were going to give all the credit to Godzilla versus Kong and Mortal Kombat. But that's another story.
Yeah.
But the reality is, the fact of the matter is, Netflix wanted the Snyder Cut. So it would make logical sense for Warner Brothers after the merger to go back to Zaslav and say, hey, if you're not going to do anything with this Snyderverse, you think we could? Netflix is going to kind of have to go to Zaslav, like when you go to a garage sale and you see some video games at the garage sale you want, and you know exactly what those video games are, but you just go up to the old lady and you say, how much for the video games? Like you don't know anything about what they are. You're just calling them video games, but you know full well it's like a GameCube in mint condition with like 50 games. But you're like, hey, how much for the video games? And that's the way Netflix is going to be when they go to Zaslav for the Snyderverse. So if you're not doing anything with that, with that Snyder, this whole Snyder thing, you're not doing anything with those Snyder movies. You think we could, maybe work out some kind of a deal here? We got Zack over here, and we kind of want to do. I think that's how the Snyderverse is going to be restored. But that's just my take. That's my view. I don't have any sources or anything as far as what I think, but that's how I believe it's going to happen. I believe it will happen, but it's going to happen through Netflix. I don't think it's going to happen through WB. I don't think Zack is ever going to go back and work with them again. I don't think you'll ever see Zack Snyder working directly with Warner Brothers as far as doing another film with them again, as far as long as he lives, because I think that bridge has been burnt I don't think there's any way because they clearly don't want nothing to do with him. He clearly doesn't want anything to do with them. It's just,
Yeah. How about you, Corey? What's your view on Trevor's question?
It's funny. One of the reasons I also enjoy watching Zod is because I feel like we share very similar opinions. So I like I love how blunt you are about things and how you're not afraid to get into the thick of it with people and with tough conversations. So I certainly appreciate it. But yes, kind of similar to what Zod was saying. I don't know how Zack Snyder goes back to Warner Brothers. How does Ray Fisher go back to Warner Brothers? They
don't go back unless if it's completely cleaned of the assholes that were running it.
Right. Right. So there's going to be some major things that's going to happen in order for us to get the Snyderverse restored. So,
yeah, no, I hear exactly what you guys are saying, and you're all bringing up very great points. Of Netflix is brilliant right now because they know exactly what they're doing,
and they're huge. They have the money.
Yeah, they're the king of streaming, right? No one will
make this happen.
Yeah, I truly think not even for as good as what Disney Plus has been doing, I don't think anyone's going to catch up to Netflix because they have taken it each time when companies are starting to get on the track of Netflix. Netflix does something where it takes it to the next level, like the video games that they're now going to start to do. Can you imagine if they make an Army of the Dead video game with Zack Snyder? It's going to go nuts. I mean, to me, I appreciate that Netflix has welcomed Zack with open arms. And you know what? You could say it's genuine, but they also recognize that Zack Snyder is money. His name is just money. So they're like, of course, it's literally what Warner Brothers did with frickin' James Gunn, which partly pisses me off about the Suicide Squad film, is that with James Gunn, they just because he's from Disney, Guardians of the Galaxy, exactly what Warner Brothers is looking for the DC films. They were like, yeah, whatever you want, bro. And so when James Gunn was like, anything I want, is like, okay, well, I want rated R. How come David Ayer didn't get that treatment with his Suicide Squad?
Exactly.
And then sorry, go ahead, Corey.
And to add on to that, look at the fan support that Zack Snyder has. You know, if it wasn't for the fans, pushing
we aren't the Corey. The problem is we aren't the fans they want. They want the MCU fans. They want the same fan base that the MCU has. They want that. They don't want us. They think we're all just a bunch of toxic heathens that should be pushed off the other end of the earth. They don't want us, and that's what it's all about. We're too vocal. We say too much. We support Zack Snyder. They hate Zack Snyder's guts. It's not about that. That's why it's too personal for Warner Brothers right now. That's another reason why you're there. You can't do business if you make it personal. Once it becomes personal, you're never going to have business. And that's what's happened between WB and Zack Snyder. It's become entirely too personal. And no matter what, that's why I say even after the merger and whatever, if Hamada and Emmerich or any of those people are still there, then it's the same thing. So you're not gonna. There's no way you're gonna be able to do that. There's gonna be such a disconnect, and Warner and Netflix is gonna have Zack in such a way where he's gonna be happy making movies he wants to make, doing what he wants to do. I think you just have to look at it, and I look at it like this: for Zack Snyder's mental health, this is the best thing that could possibly have happened to him, because now he's free to do what he wants, to be the filmmaker he wanted to be. If they won't let him make a Star Wars movie, he'll go off and he'll make his own sci-fi Star Wars.
Honestly, though, sorry, go ahead, Corey.
And to kind of throw on in there with you, Zod, I don't know if you're a Manifest guy as well. There's been a big movement for hashtag Say Manifest, and I know I keep bringing it up, but it was another NBC Warner Brothers TV show. But there's been rumors going on today that with the fan support of Manifest, with all the movement going on there in the Twitter land, as well as it being, streaming hardcore on Netflix and all the other platforms, it sounds like Netflix may actually save Manifest. There's been some big information coming out today about it, and I haven't seen anywhere where Netflix says, yeah, season 4 is happening, but it's sounding pretty good from all the actors and actresses, and even Jeff Rake, the show writer. So.
Yeah. It to me, Corey, like the fact when Netflix said like, hey, we're not picking up Save Manifest, that it's just like what they did with Lucifer. It was all part of a plan. It's that little, teasing the fans to be like, well, no, we gotta prove to Netflix that there's a demand out there. So they went crazy, and it's all part of what Netflix wanted. They wanted to see that demand.
It's how Netflix was with how Netflix was with the Snyder Cut. Netflix wanted the Snyder Cut because they saw the fan demand. They saw that you're gonna have all those people flocking to Netflix. If Netflix could get the Snyder Cut, that would be huge. So I could just imagine they've probably had tons of meetings already with Zack saying, Zack, we're going to, after this merger, we're going to approach them and we're going to try to get the rights for you to finish your arc. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that they've already planned, that they're going to push really hard to make happen. So I'm telling everybody, don't give up on the Snyderverse. Just don't be surprised if it ends up on Netflix. And not somewhere on WNWB's platform.
And I'm sorry, try to keep cutting you off. And I'm really glad, Zod, that you keep bringing up with what you do, that, don't support these other things, because it's not that we're toxic fans. It's the fact that we want a quality product because we're DC fans, so get us what we want. So I appreciate what you're saying too.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think with the Snyderverse, I think we're going to learn a lot. When David Zaslav gets in, I think if there's not immediate action of removing people from certain positions, then I think we know our answer, that the Snyderverse is, at least in terms that Warner Brothers, is dead. But if he gets in there and it's just like, Jason Killar, you're gone, and Sarnoff, you're gone, Walter Hamada, what do I need you for? Toby Emmerich, why you're still here? Get the hell out. I think if he removes people pretty quick from the moment he gets in and really reshifts the company, I think at that time there is a possibility for Zack to come back to Warner Brothers, because at that moment he has no beef with anyone. And from what I hear from Zack, he's willing to listen to any conversation. The issue is going to be with the treatment that Zack is getting at Netflix for him to build on his own universe with Rebel Moon, Army of the Dead, probably a King Arthur film, and even that Twilight of the Gods thing. Zack is going to go back to David Zaslav and be like, okay, this is what they offer me. It's like, you're going to have to like beat that, and you're going to have to like guarantee that no one tells me what to do for Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. And if they can't guarantee that, then already Zack's going to be like, okay, well, I'm going back to Netflix. And then I still think, like Zod said, Netflix can go in.
It's this first look deal. This first look deal guarantees that Zack is locked down with any project he wants to do on Netflix for the next 2 years. The point with that, with this whole 2-year thing, is Zack is going to be very busy during this time, because Netflix is allowing him to do what he wants when he wants. So in order for this whole thing with Warner Brothers, in order for them to even be able to entice Zack in any way, it's like you said, that's a lot of stuff that they're going to have to do. And like you said, they're going to also have to do it very, very quickly for it to make any impact. Because if you allow Hamada and Emmerich and all them to stick around for however long, right then and there, I still say, no matter what, and this is the other caveat where all these people are saying, oh, you're saying the Snyderverse is dead then. No, think about it this way. If Walter Hamada and even if they decide to keep Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, and all of them, Netflix could still come to Zaslav and make a bid for a part of DC or to straight up buy DC. And Zaslav, it doesn't have the connection to DC. Okay? Yeah. Zaslav, DC is just another property. So if Netflix can come in and make a compelling enough offer to buy DC films, it's very possible that Warner Brothers may be willing at that time under Zaslav to just let them have it for a big enough price. So I you know what? I still say, all in all, Snyderverse is going to happen. But I'm telling you, man, you're hearing it here. It's going to happen under the Netflix banner. That's the only way it happens.
Hey,
I don't see it happening under WB.
We gotta start throwing down money. So if Zod's right, you gotta pay Zod a lot of money. No, I agree with you guys. It's definitely going to be, these next 2 years are going to be very, very interesting of what happens, because all Zack is doing right now is building his value, and it's going to come down to
hit after hit after hit. Look at what's happened right now. We've had the Snyder Cut and we've had Army of the Dead within a couple of months' time.
Yeah,
hasn't even been that long, and we've had 2 back-to-back smash hits from one filmmaker.
Yeah, and honestly, when you think about it, Zack made a zombie film, which is easily, you could say, the zombie fandom is it's at a down slope. It's not as big as it was when Walking Dead was at its peak. It's going down. The fandom of the zombie world is not as what it used to be, and somehow Zack made it one of the biggest watched films on Netflix. And you mean to tell me that the Snyder Cut wasn't successful on HBO Max? Like, shut the hell up. Like, people, I mean, you see on all of the physical copies in the UK and India, digital sales, Zack Snyder's Justice League is always like at the very top. It's always in the top 1, top 2 movies. And yet they want to hide the fact that it's like, oh, it wasn't successful. Like, okay, then show me the numbers. And they're like, well, we don't want to do that. Like, well, then we know the truth. The fact that Warner Brothers hasn't come out and said, oh, Zack Snyder's Justice League was a complete utter failure, means it was successful. And I know my friend Julian would say, well, Trey, why wouldn't they want to praise its success? Because it shows how much they failed. That team, when they did the Zack Snyder's Justice League, they threw an extra like $30-40 million at Joss Whedon to redo all of Zack's stuff. And then when the movie failed miserably, that was a failure to them. So why would they want to showcase, okay, here's another film that could have been done the first time like this, but we had to spend another $70 million to finish it, and it's a huge hit. No boss looks at that and goes like, why the fuck did I spend an extra $140 million on this film when it could have been done the first time in 2017? You get fired for shit like that. So me personally, there's without question hope for the Snyderverse, whether it's at Netflix, whether David Zaslav does what we hope he does and cleans house, or they just decide to sell it off to, like you said, to Netflix, like Zod said. But Zod, let me get your final take as we're closing down now.
My final take is I imported Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 ways, once from the UK and then once from I believe this steelbook came from Finland.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm all about it, and I can't wait until it gets an official localized release in September. That'll be nice.
That's dope. I see. I was hesitant to buy anything from out of the US because I wasn't sure if it I didn't know how that would work.
Warner Brothers discs are all region free.
Okay.
So if you import it, you'll be able to play it on your player. There's no restrictions.
And of course, now I'm going to be on a waiting list because it's sold out. Let me get your final take on something. So obviously you're talking about the Snyderverse and how really Netflix is kind of going to be the future, the home for DC. What do you think about this upcoming event on social media for August 5th, hashtag release the air cut, right before the release of the Suicide Squad film? Do you think it's going to do anything? Do you think it's going to help if it surpasses 500,000 tweets?
I hope it does. I'm always optimistic for these events because, I was a part of a lot of the big events that we did in the early days for Release the Snyder Cut. I was there from the beginning. And I will say that, in my opinion, these tweeting events do work. They do make noise. They do give recognition. They do help. And all I can say is I hope that they end up releasing the Ayer cut. In fact, I think that they're stupid for not releasing the Ayer cut to help hype up this movie coming out from James Gunn. I don't understand how you do that when you have demand for a director's cut of a movie you already released that was a success, right?
Yeah.
I guess like the theatrical cut of Suicide Squad was considered successful.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you release David Ayer's original vision prior to James Gunn's Suicide Squad coming out? It can only help the hype because it's going to come direct to video. It's not like you're putting it in theaters and you're going to compete with James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So to me, it just goes to show you how deep the bruised egoing and how deep the hatred of the Snyderverse really is for WB for them not to release the Ayer cut when David Ayer keeps saying his film is sitting in a vault ready to go, could be released any day if they wanted to.
I think, I also heard him say he needs to do a little bit of like virtual effects, but he said it wouldn't be more than $20 million to clear that stuff up. But I mean, sorry, Corey, I'll let you go ahead first.
And to add on to that, Zod, one thing that Trey and I have talked about quite a bit is, with this past year of COVID and for them not allowing actors and actresses to get together and do, video shoots and stuff like that. And in the world of how we're constantly remaking films, if you had something like a director's cut that was pretty much already available, why wouldn't you have released that so we would have gotten some new scenes and stuff like that this past year rather than just going over a year with that not having anything come out?
I have to say, Warner Brothers is like the dumbest, stupidest, most obtuse movie studio I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen. It's almost like they're allergic to money. It's like they don't. It's like, I don't understand. I always hear, people say, it's not show friends, it's show business, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about business. It's about money. So why would you, if it's about money first, why is this company almost completely and entirely driven by ego and able to get away with it? How does that even make any sense?
Yeah. I mean, you bring up a great point. I mean, it's like release the Schumacher cut. Like that's a cut that is done, ready to go, and
sitting
it's like,
in a vault somewhere.
Yeah, why are we? And they were like, well, we just don't know if there's demand. What the hell does it matter? You really don't have to do any marketing. All you have to do is slap it on HBO Max.
Slap it on HBO Max, and it'll be one of the most watched movies.
Yeah, I think personally, the reason why they haven't released the Ayer cut, at least before James Gunn's Suicide Squad, is because I think they know. I think they know that when the audience watches that film, there's going to be an outrage cry of like, why the fuck wasn't David Ayer the director of this?
Same thing is going to happen that happened with the Snyder cut. You're going to have people that absolutely hated Justice League and dunked all over, how they dunked all over Snyder's movies. And then when they saw his Justice League, they're all singing his praises. It's going to be the same thing with David Ayer. It's going to be the same exact situation.
Absolutely. And I think when people would see James Gunn's The Suicide Squad film, James Gunn's Suicide Squad,
it's trash.
Exactly. It's not going to match David Ayer's film. It's not going to match his original vision.
You could tell that by the style of humor in the trailers. Unless James Gunn made those trailers just to throw everybody off, and the movie is nothing like those trailers, I don't know how anybody could be hyped up for that unless you like juvenile sexual prepubescent innuendo with a lot of fart jokes and dick jokes. I don't know what else you're going to get out of it.
I mean, you don't find eating children funny?
No.
Neither do I. When I saw that joke, I was like, oh God, like, here we go, James. Like, this is just so stupid. I agree with you. Literally, as I've said before, the only thing that interested me about the Suicide Squad was not even the character, is literally Starro. And that's just because I'm a comic fan, and that's like, yes, but I would have loved to have seen that be a Justice League like quick villain in the beginning that they take on in like Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 to open up the film, you know, and then they go off and do their own lives and go back to fight the main villain. But like, you know, to me, it's very just, I'm pretty sure they're not releasing the air cut yet until, you know, James Gunn's Suicide Squad comes out. So that way there won't be this beginning outcry against James Gunn. And not only that, so that when people first see the movie and they're like, the initial reaction would be like, this movie sucked compared to David Ayer's Suicide Squad. What the hell? You know, and they didn't want that. They wanted to get this. I mean, look what they were posting. They were posting all this. Look at the critic reviews. It's gonna be amazing. People love the Suicide Squad film. I think the general audience is going to watch this and be like, what the fuck? You know?
But remember, the critics also loved cuties. So figure that out.
Yep, you did it, Zod. Yeah, that makes sense right there. Like a bunch of idiots telling us to. I mean, look at Batman v Superman. Still like what did they give it? Like a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like you mean to tell me BVS, even the theatrical edition, is like worse than fucking like Captain Marvel or I mean, name a shitty movie, and it's probably has a lower score. I mean, it has a lower score than Cuties. Stupid. I mean, yet we're supposed to take these people at their word. So Zod, as we come down to the final end, do you have any final thoughts that you want to share with the audience?
Well, all I want to really say right now is, once again, man, congratulations on 1 year. Keep it up, guys.
Oh man, thank you so much, Zod. Seriously, bro, I was ecstatic when you agreed to come on tonight, because I've been wanting to do this with you for a while, because I really enjoy everything you say on your show with Sonia G, and as well as on Zod's show. I mean, sorry, on Sill's show. And I just appreciate everything you have to say. And I love your blunt honesty, man, because I appreciate that. I'd rather know where you stand than what you're saying behind the scenes. So I appreciate you coming on, Zod, and it means the world to me. And I can't thank you enough, brother.
And he has some cool stuff too. If you know, when he hits these milestones too, I think 1,000 Sonia G is going to beat you up, and then 2,000 cookie dough Sonia.
Yeah, 1,000 Sonia is going to come over and choke me out, and then
that's right.
2,000 I'm going to paint her with cookie dough. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh man, that's exciting!
That's awesome.
I can't wait for you to get there.
I can't either. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Well, Zod, thank you so much, brother, and we'll have to do this again sometime, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate
it. Zod.
Thank you, Zod. Take care, brother.
Later, guys.
Man, well, Corey, this has been
wow.
Yeah, 1 year, man. I can't believe it's been 1 year. This has just been like this is exactly what I dreamed this channel could be, of hanging out with people who have the same passions and some people who have different views of you, and to kind of just discuss it and to really throw out their thoughts, but more importantly, to celebrate what people have going on in their lives, what they're passionate about, and to raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. How much did we raise?
Oh man. So we're close to, if not over $200 now.
Wow.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. This community are people who, and are the fans who keep coming back to, and show after show, live stream after live stream. I love it, literally absolutely every single one of them. I can't tell you how much I enjoy seeing, all the, and, the guys come up, like Release the Snyder Cut guy, Bat Fanatic, Trevor H. O, Lucas Ironside. I can keep going.
The Batfleck movie, even
make the Batfleck movie.
Bat-Dan.
Yeah, Bat-Dan. You got, and then MaskofShy was here tonight, with us, and we got Zodwriter tonight, and Jeffrey. And I could go on forever. Yellow Devil, can't forget about Yellow Devil. Even though he wasn't able to make
he was busy tonight. He felt bad too that he couldn't come out tonight. And I was like, bro, you can watch it another time. Your support over the year has been amazing.
Yeah, Batfleck. I think I mentioned, the list goes on. So if I didn't mention you, man, we love you guys so much, and I enjoy like what we did tonight. Having all the guys on, that was something I was extremely looking forward to, being able to do these types of shows. But it's I absolutely love seeing our group just keep showing up every night and commenting. And I think that's one thing that I just extremely love about your channel, Trey, is that even if it's not a live show, you're commenting on all the comments in the comment section of a non-live stream or pre-recorded show. So we wouldn't be here without you guys, and I can't thank you enough for $200, man. Release the Snyder Cut guy with $100, like holy cow, that was absolutely insane, and man, just Trevor H following up with $50, like holy cow, man. Yeah. Oh my God, here comes Bat Fanatic, man.
Oh man, you guys,
we're over 200 now.
Bat Fanatic says, so proud of this community. Have a great night, guys. Cheers to year 2. Thank you, man. That means a lot. Corey, we know what to do for Bat Fanatic. Let's give it to him.
Just. And now, folks, it's time for Who Do You Trust? Hubba, hubba, hubba. Money, money, money. Who do you trust? Me? I'm giving away free money.
Yeah, seriously, guys. This one means a lot to me. I really do appreciate the support over this year, because this took a push for me, because like I said, I'm generally antisocial, especially with people I don't know. And when my dad was like constantly like, Trey, you know a lot about the DC and the Snyder Cut stuff and about Batman and all this other, you basically, my dad would tell me, a lot of pointless information. And he just kept pushing me to do it. And finally it was like almost kind of out of irritation of him constantly harassing me about it. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. And then when I came up with the idea, the Bat channel, and what it was going to be about, the thing that was super important to me was building the community to do some incredible things like raise money for certain charities that were really important to me, like the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and Feeding America and many more. So to be able to do this with you guys, I'm very grateful, and I'm excited to start season 2 of the Bat channel. And I can't wait to show you. We have some cool things coming up. We're going to be doing more of these live streams with panels, and my Wonder Wife is working on a new logo. There's going to be some different looks going on, and we're just going to make it better for you guys.
I was going to ask you that, Trey. What's one thing that you would like to see come up in this next year? Because like this first year has been insane, dude. You made it to over 1,000. We're at what, over 1,100. There's the community is absolutely amazing. We've talking to these amazing people, and talking to these amazing people is not just the amazing people that we have on our show. It's the people that are our fans, the fans in the chat. I personally would love to see us get some fans on the live stream with us, someday in the future. But what's something that you're kind of looking forward to in this next year with the Bat channel?
Gosh, there's so much that I'm looking forward to, and it's part of the hard part is I have such a, I guess you could say, like a wide imagination that like everything I think about is big. I think on a big scale of like this is how big I want this project to be, and sometimes you have to ring that in and do what's
if you mean to pry, I do.
Right, yeah. To do what's more practical, or what is actually reasonable. And I don't like being that way. I like thinking more, if you push big, you'll get something bigger than what it could have been if you just did what was reasonable. And for me, I think more just like I just want to continue to build this community. I want people to be proud to be a part of it and to do some more cool things. Like you and I, Corey, are still working on that Hallelujah project. That we're hoping to do something like really, really special with it, because I really feel like lately there's moments where this community has, like any community and days throughout life, you have some down moments and you have some up moments. And I feel like lately this community has felt like it's been in a rut, and that we feel like we can't, we don't feel as unified as we used to. And I'm hoping that with this Hallelujah project, that kind of changes that and kind of inspires people to get back to what made this community great, which was unity and fighting for artist integrity, and to help further great causes like the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Because you don't realize how important that is. Like, as Zack said, we're literally going out and saving lives, and it's just by handing a few dollars. And I understand how important every dollar is. I mean, especially during the pandemic, you start to hold on those dollars a little tighter. And the fact that you guys are always willing to go out of your way and donate whatever you can to something like this means a lot to us. So for me, things I'm looking forward to is just making the Bat channel all the better for you guys, to build this community, to make it all the more special, and to really do something fantastic. Because there's so many ideas I have of what this could be, and with your guys' involvement, it's only going to help further that cause. I'm reading something from Super Bro Corey, and I agree. I'll let you say it though.
Yeah, you want to do it? So, all right. So one of the things that we were kind of thinking about, doing tonight, and we were hoping that we'd raise some decent money, but for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and since we believe it's such a worthy cause, Trey and I are going to match tonight's donations for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So that's over $400 now that we'll be donating combined as the Bat Channel family to American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. So thank you so much for everybody who donated tonight. That was absolutely amazing, and we can't thank you guys enough. And we'll do a press release when we submit it, everything like that, so you can trust that we're going to send the money where it needs to be, because for us it's always been about doing what's right, and showing fans and showing the community that we're not toxic fans. We're a community that believes in something greater, and yes, we are passionate fans about the DC and the Snyderverse, and we want it to be restored. But whether it's restored or it's not restored, no matter what, life goes on, and we want to keep helping to that and providing you guys with the best content, and just remembering people there's something more, and there's something more out of life, and that's us taking care of each other.
I can't say anything better than that. Well, guys, thank you so much. Year 1 down. Woo! Year 2 begins as we further to build this community all the stronger, all the bigger, and all the cool things we're gonna have for you guys in the future, because it's gonna be damn good.
It's gonna be a damn good year.
Thank you guys so freaking much for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it, and for helping us raise money for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. This is really exciting. Thank you guys, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot to me, and I just want to say, get ready. Season 2 is gonna be all the better. It's gonna be damn good. But guys, thank you. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I'm your host, Trey.
And I'm Super Bro Corey.
And don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Wow, you had a little harmony there.
Yeah, it sounded good. It was good.
Same bat channel. We'll see you
Bye,
later,
everybody.
guys. Have a good night.
I have something special for you tonight, Trey. Well, kind of a cool outro as we get there. So,
what do you got?
Yeah, it's going to be a little kickback again. We had an opening montage, and now it's time for a closing montage. So, thank you again, everybody. We look forward to another great year.
I can't wait for this.
DC is alive and well. They have been stirring up this beast. They whatever they have done in the last couple years to get the ball rolling on this. It is an exciting time to be a Batman fan right now. There is so much going on, and this is going to be a cool channel. If you want to know more and more about what's going on in the Batman verse, keep up with this channel. We're going to go over a lot of... That's weird. This phone's never rang before. I wonder... Hello?
Before crossing the road, you stop at the curb, look right, look left, look right again, and then only if the road is clear, walk quickly across. Now, children, how does it go? At the curb, stop. Look right, look left, look right again. If all's clear, walk quickly across. Remember, be smart, be safe. Always do your curb drill.
You got it, Batman. Well, you heard it from the man himself. Make sure you look both ways before you cross the street. And that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching our first video. I'm so excited to be sharing this journey with you guys. It's only going to get better from here. Please like and subscribe and share it with your fellow Bat family. I'm Trey. And don't forget to tune in next week, Wednesday at 10:48 p.m. Mountain Time. Same Bat time, same Bat channel.
That's so great, man. That was I figured we had the opening from the first show. We had to have the closing from the first show. So small bearded Trey. Oh man.
There's the baby face Trey. The Adam West man. Hey, shout out to the man who brought Batman to the next level in terms of entertainment.
Yeah. But thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Yeah,
both ways before you cross the street.
How do you do that again, Trey?
You look right, you look left, you look right again, and only if it's safe, may you cross the road.
Have a good night, everybody.
See you guys.